Right off the bat, we've got a crash. It is blocking the left lane, 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane, and that has complete stop-and-go traffic, eastbound South Loop, eastbound East Loop, and also northbound 65 to the South Loop. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, kids. Welcome in, one and all. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to have you with us this Tuesday, April 28, 2026. Big goings on for the next 4 hours, and I hope you're able to spend every single moment with us. My name is Matt Murphy, conveniently enough, and this is the Matt Murphy Show. Either I'm going blind or we're losing lighting in our studio. I take it back. There could be a third option, and that could be that both of those things are happening simultaneous to one another. We've got lots to get into today, and I hope that you're here to react to every single moment of it, either via the telephone, 615-737-9986. Always good to hear from you on the phone line, 615-737-9986. We open those up. We also have the super text line up and going. That is the same telephone number that I just delivered to you. You just text as opposed to call. And then you can also, hit us up on a variety of different platforms. Email is up and running. And then, of course, a variety of social media platforms to include at Matt Murphy Show. I'm mostly on the X machine, and that's where you can find us at Matt Murphy Show. Why am I getting that look? I'm just trying to get everything settled and everything going in the direction that it ought to. I am not 100%. I have no idea why. I apologize for you in advance if I sneeze on you, or to you in advance if I sneeze on you in any way, if I snarfle on you in any way, or if I cough on you in any way. All of those things seem to be lingering in the aftermath of my ailment from last week. I was hopeful that I was over it Saturday into Sunday, but now the allergies and all of that kind of thing, and I'm not here to complain I'm not here to complain at all, but invariably I will cough and or sneeze on you, and if that is the case, I sincerely apologize. At least I wasn't up all hours of the night covering storms from last evening, but I know who was. Ken Weaver back in News Closet B was burning the midnight oil last night on our radio airwaves, 99.7 FM, and other platforms, making sure that folks were informed about the inclement weather. And yet here he is this afternoon getting after it, his third or fourth wind. Hello, Mr. Weaver.
How about you boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Glad to hear it. You should have called me last night, Weaver.
Well,
I don't know that I could have done anything.
You couldn't have done anything, Brother Murphy, and I just felt like it was one of those issues where it was, it wasn't like a tornado outbreak like we've had in the past, and they were radar indicated except for the one, up there, that may have hit Goodlettsville. And then it was getting close enough where the morning team was showing up.
Right.
So, and they're more than capable, of
they're capable.
Taking over.
Oh, they're no doubt they're capable. Well, we appreciate you in all sincerity. I mean, being there for the listening audience. Ken
it's
and I
the
were,
job.
Well, we were communicating, in the 11 o'clock hour last night. We were texting back and forth, and I was telling, for some reason, my Ethernet cable, which seemed to be janky the last time that we had severe weather where I broadcast from Mount Pleasant, and it had gone out on me. I could not get it to reconnect. And so I was a little bit concerned about that, and we were trying to figure out a different way around it. And I was like, well, Ken, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that everything's okay, and if it's not, we'll figure something out. Just let me know if something happens. And I went to bed, and I woke up at 3, and I looked at my phone, and there were no messages from Weaver on my phone. And I woke up to like a clap of thunder. I woke up a couple of times with thunder in the background, lightning in the background, just a tremendous amount of thunder and lightning down in Mount Pleasant. And I'm sure you folks experienced a similar activity in your neck of the woods. And then I look at my phone. There's no message from Weaver. I look at the alerts. I got no tornado warnings at that point, at least what I saw on the radar system that I use. And I thought, oh, well, that's great. I'm going back to bed. And little did I know, had I turned on my little old radio there in the kitchen,
the good old-fashioned radio.
I still have one of those under the counters, Ken.
Do you?
Yeah, oh, yes. I take that to every house I go to. That's one of the first things I do is mount that sucker.
Yes, sir.
Right there on 99.7 FM always.
Yes, sir.
And had I turned that on, Ken, I would have heard the mellifluous tones of Ken Weaver reporting the weather situation as it was.
Well, it was interesting for Murray County because there was just Murray County was included in that tornado warning based on rotation picked up by radar. But it was just the thinnest slice of southeast Murray County. It was mainly Giles and Lawrence County.
Right.
That this tornadic severe thunderstorm was headed to. But, if part of Murray County was in it may have only been like a yard or something, somebody's backyard in Murray County under the gun there. But I will say this, man, you guys did get some hail.
Oh, yeah.
I saw at one point there was 2.5-inch hail just south of Mount Pleasant.
That's some big hail, boy.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know that I never heard it at our house. So I feel like I would have heard hail. It would have woken me up. I heard rain, but I don't feel like I heard hail, at least where we were. But yeah, a lot of nasty weather. And it was one of those systems, and I don't have to tell you, Ken, because you were reporting on it and you were awake through it. But one of those systems that everything seemed to be just on the verge of tipping to the point where people really needed to be aware. Otherwise, these are just straight line winds and severe thunderstorms and nasty weather. And, we all get it. We understand that at any moment that system could create some spin-ups. And apparently that's what happened in Goodlettsville, I guess.
Yeah, because that warning, I had just signed off from covering the first warning that the Weather Service rescinded. And I was kicked back babysitting, and it might have been 10 minutes later, boom, we were right back on. And then, I'm reading the warning, and National Weather Service says confirmed tornado. Moving east at about 45 miles per hour north of Nashville. And that's what I think might have hit Goodlettsville.
So according to the National Weather Service, they're saying considerable area of rain, embedded storms impacted that area of Nashville and that area of the metro region. And they expect that we're going to be doing all of this again in the next several hours. Ken, what is the latest on that? So we're expecting this is happening right after drive time tonight?
Yeah, right now the window for severe weather in Middle Tennessee is 5 p.m. to midnight. Now, the system that is prompting this is right now in Arkansas, and it has prompted some tornado warnings, radar indicated tornado warnings in Arkansas. Arkansas and all of west Middle Tennessee are under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And so, that indicates that whatever severe storms are, they're going to be knocking on Middle Tennessee's door around 10 o'clock, if not before.
Yeah, knocking on Memphis's door right now.
Yeah, they're knocking on Memphis's door right now, and they're moving this way. But also the Weather Service says that the risk for severe thunderstorms that can create tornadoes tonight, not as high as it was last night. Yeah.
Well, hopefully everyone will get home safe and sound. And, we don't have to worry about it, Jackson. We can just get the heck out of here because, Ken Weaver is on the job. And what does he need? He needs sleep? Come on. He needs sleep.
I don't need no sleep.
Listen, in all sincerity, thank you for being there last night, brother. That's, middle of the night.
Nothing, man. Ain't nothing you wouldn't do.
Well, something
ain't nothing you haven't done.
Hey, I got the Ethernet cable, so it's something that I can do tonight if necessary, but it sounds like that's going to hit a little bit earlier than it did last evening. But we'll be here for you. Obviously, our standard protocol, and Ken Weaver lived through it last night, if there is a tornado warning, radar indicated or otherwise, we're going to come on air and we're going to alert the listening audience to that, because we understand that at a moment's notice like that, you can lose power. And if you lose power, what do you do for information? We can go to your phone. Sure, your phone can provide you with a little bit of information, but if you're looking for something a little more long form, that's what we want to be here for you to do. And so we try to do that as we best can. And last night was an example of that with Ken Weaver flying solo. But we've got a team of folks ready to go. You had Chris Hand ready to go, Weaver. You had Chad Benson ready to go. You had Matt Murphy not so ready to go, but willing. Yeah. Not ready, but willing.
Absolutely.
And then there's Weaver handling it, making it happen from the breakfast nook of Southern Command in News Closet B.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I had me a bologna sandwich at around 1:45 this morning.
Cooked bologna or just
no, it was just cold bologna with mayonnaise. Man, right now I am really into bologna. I've got to be careful, dude. I can eat an entire package of it. And I got to be real careful.
You know what that would make you, Ken?
Full of it?
Full of bologna. It'd be full of bologna.
I don't know what it is, man.
Ken, I've got to bring you, if you are into it, there was a report of that nasty line of storms going through Summertown.
Yes, sir. Oh, and yeah, they got hit.
They got popped, and that's where Schaefer's Barbecue is.
Oh.
And Schaefer's Barbecue is the home of some of the finest smoked bologna that I've ever had the privilege of putting in my mouth.
Oh, my goodness.
And it is just tip-top, brother. And I'm going to bring you a big old slab.
Whew, let's do it, man.
Of that smoked bologna.
Me, you, and Jackson just eat on it all day.
Jackson, you eat a smoked bologna sandwich, wouldn't you? I mean, come on.
Sure.
Oh, Jackson says sure. Jackson is acting as a man of leisure today, as young Ryan is controlling the experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
And that's perfectly enough out of you. So Jackson, no, I'm just kidding. Jackson will be screening your telephone calls. Ryan manning the boards, 615-737-9986. So there's your weather situation from last evening, kind of a postmortem of what went on there. And we will continue to cover the weather situation that's coming into town. Once again, just another situation of the possibility of severe thunderstorms, the possibility of, one of those spin-ups. The severe weather risk, not quite as high as it was last evening, but obviously it's not zero, so we're going to be here for you on that front as well.
Sir.
615-737-9986, your telephone calls. James Comey got another indictment against him today. I don't think this is going anywhere, but we will discuss. Marsha Blackburn had a few things to say about the legalization of recreational and or medical marijuana in the state of Tennessee, should she be the governor. And I feel like a lot of these Republicans are living 35, 40 years ago. I feel like a lot of these Republicans are living in a bygone era where people have different thoughts about the efficacy of medical marijuana, the medical use, the medicinal use of marijuana. And I feel like they're also relying on their instincts from long ago with regard to how they react to this. Secondarily, and more to the point for me, and maybe this is because I've been sick for a week and I can't shake it. Maybe I've just had a belly full of it. Big government conservatism is wearing me out. Big government conservatism is wearing me thin. We live in a state where there are a lot of people, and I'm not naming names. I'm not pointing fingers necessarily at Marsha or John Rose. I mean, they're in the same place with regard to marijuana, for example. But that's just an example, folks. And I don't want this to be too much about pot as much as it is about liberty. It occurs to me that our friends in the Republican Party, once again, I'm not a Republican. I do not belong to any club that would have me as a member. Thank you very much. I'm a small L libertarian. I believe that government serves best when it serves only when necessary, and least to those of you that value personal liberty and freedom, you should feel the same way. And it occurs to me that these conservatives that run around talking about their small government credentials, they're not small government at all. They just have a different set of values as to when government should attempt to, or by force, prevent you from living a life of personal liberty and freedom. What business is it of the government's? Exactly. Now, obviously, well, I mean, let's back it up for a moment. What are laws for? What do we empower our sitting representatives to do with regard to laws that would deny us certain rights and liberties and opportunities to express ourselves freely of our own volition, right? So we do those things only when, or at least in my mind, we ought to be passing laws that would restrict my freedoms and liberties only if my freedoms and liberties might encroach on the freedoms and liberties of others. As an example, why is drinking and driving illegal? Why is it illegal? Why is it illegal for me to get drunk as Cooter Brown and get behind the wheel of a car? Is it because the government wants to protect me from me? Or is it because the government wants to protect me from other people? I mean, it's obviously the latter. It has been determined that individuals cannot operate a motor vehicle after consuming certain amounts of alcohol adequately to ensure the safety of others on the roads. For the same reason, we have rules against reckless driving or distracted driving. For the same reason, Tennessee is a hands-free state when it comes to cell phone use in your automobile. These are not restrictions designed to prevent you from exercising your liberty to look at your phone going down the highway at 85 miles an hour. To hell with you. If you want to be dumb enough to do that, well, the consequences are on you. Problem is, there are other people on the road that you are putting in danger. Help me understand how it is small government conservatism to take the position that you should not be allowed to live a life of your own choosing so long as you're not putting anyone else in danger. It doesn't make any sense. And these same government officials that have such an issue with something naturally occurring, like marijuana, for example, don't seem to have nearly as much problem as long as Big Pharma gives the thumb up on it. And it's my understanding that big alcohol has become a pretty big player in the anti-pot movement as well. These are not small government conservatives. And why would I expect them to be? And I'm not, once again, I don't want to turn this into a bash Marcia session, but why would I expect small government conservatism to come out of Washington, D.C., where she's been for the past however many decades, where they can't manage to balance a budget on a bet? They just spend money like the party's about to be over. And we're just going to blow this mother out. Turn out the lights when we're done. 615-737-9986. It's 23 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for King and Associates Insurance. King and Associates Insurance protects those things that matter most in your life, like your home, your automobile, and with homeowners and automobile insurance, if you bundle those things up, boy, oh boy, you could save big with King and Associates Insurance, and I love telling you about that. But I love telling you about other options that they have available for them as well, like life insurance. If you have kids, life insurance isn't about you. It's about them making sure the house is paid for, college still possible, their life doesn't change overnight. No one wants to consider it, but the fact of the matter is you want to protect your family in the sad and unlikely tragic event that you're no longer with them. King and Associates Insurance can make that simple for you with no pressure, no confusion, just clear options that fit your family, fit your lifestyle, and make sure that your family's protected. 615-329-8121, 329-8121, or online at kinginsurance.com, kinginsurance.com. Protecting what matters most.
We are tracking the potential for more severe weather. By the way, if your home was damaged in the ice storm, you could get back money from the state. We'll tell you how. And Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn says she supports the nuclear option to block the filibuster. These stories and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I also love that. They support the nuclear option to block the filibuster, but they also support the guy that is single-handedly preventing anyone from initiating the nuclear option to block the filibuster. That makes a hell of a lot of sense, doesn't it? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you're invited. Andy Ogles, some of the stories that we'll get into today over the course of the day. Andy Ogles was invited to Belmont University. He went to Belmont University. He was screamed and yelled at Belmont University. Have y'all seen where the National Democrats are planning on spending some $1.5 million on the District 5 race in the general election here this year in the state of Tennessee? Have you also noted, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, that apparently Congressman Andy Ogles has no money to run his reelection campaign? And I wonder if anyone else is concerned about the possibility of that seat flipping. Maybe I'm concerned for no reason. Maybe the separation between Republicans and Democrats in District Number 5 is such that we don't have to worry about that, or maybe I should be a little worried about it. Now, obviously, Andy's got a primary to run, and his primary challenger, Charlie Hatcher, apparently has money to spend. That's happening on August 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll talk about Andy's visit to Belmont coming up in just a few moments as well. I mentioned the Jim Comey indictment. And, oh, by the way, for folks who let's see. Wait, no, I can't do that. What do I have running? Do I have something running there? I don't think I have anything running there. Oh yeah, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what. I won't. I don't have anything. I don't have anything running on my end, so I don't know if something's doubling up on that end. But maybe I do. You got? I'm muted over here. You good over there? Okay. Let's listen to all of our No Kings protesters as an actual king took to the...
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
Look at there. All of these people that have been running around their individual... Oh, look, there's Jerry Nadler, that weeble wobble. Look at all those Democrats. Those damn Democrats. What are they doing applauding a king? No kings!
Weeble wobble.
I mean, Jerry Nadler. Come on, y'all.
He does look like a weeble.
He looks like a weeble wobble. You remember those?
I had him, man.
Oh, man. Nadler is he's as wide as he is tall, brother. That one he's a big one. He wears those breeches right up to the nips, that Nadler. I mean, that dude... because if he didn't, they'd just fall right off. Because, you know what? Jerry Nadler, don't get me started, kid. Jerry Nadler is like, remember in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when Violet blew up like a blueberry? Had to be juiced? That's Jerry Nadler. Jerry Nadler looks like the blueberry. Anyway, they're applauding kings on the floor of the House of Representatives because King... what's his name? Charles is over there, which I don't care about anything having to do with kings or the royal family. I'm not a royal family guy, but I just find it odd that a political party that's been screaming no kings for so long, they were applauding a king earlier today. It's 32 after the hour. It's time for the news with Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Middle Tennessee under a slight risk for severe weather today. Strong storms possible between 5 o'clock and midnight. Another round is moving in from Arkansas as we speak. The main threat's going to include damaging straight-line winds, large hail, a low tornado risk, lower than the risk for tornadoes overnight, where storms cause scattered damage across Middle Tennessee. Jessica O'Neill telling Channel 4 what happened to her home in Goodlettsville.
It was about 2:31. I got an alert on my phone about a tornado in my area, which is Ivy Point. And at 2:33 this morning, the sound of a train and the roaring was coming through my house.
National Weather Service surveying damage to determine whether any tornadoes actually touched down last night. If your home was damaged in the ice storm and FEMA approved your application, you could get money back from the state. Tennessee's offering sales tax refunds of up to $2,500 on qualifying replacement purchases. Eligible items include appliances, household furniture, limited building materials. Applications must include receipts and can be filed online or by mail. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn says she supports the so-called nuclear option to block the filibuster. Here's her answer when WTN's Chris Hand asked about it to end the partial government shutdown and passing the Save America Act.
Yeah, I said I support doing that so that we can move forward with our agenda.
Why does it
but
seem...
we do not have the votes. We don't have the votes for it.
Well, it takes a simple majority, usually 51 votes, to use the nuclear option in the U.S. Senate, but several Republican senators on record opposing nuking the filibuster under any circumstances. That's the latest news, weather, and traffic. Next, I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Heavy brake tapping causing stop-and-go traffic eastbound East Loop. Northbound 65 up to the South Loop, eastbound 440 over to 24, then northbound North Loop up to the Northern Split. Look for a injury crash in Hendersonville. This is now Long Hollow Pike at New Shackle Island. And in Goodlettsville, we've got some storm damage still blocking Ivy Point Road between Cherry Hill Road and Greer Road. And in Gladeville, Wilson County got a crash. Central Pike, just east of Stewart's Ferry Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Guys, if your energy is off, if you think things aren't working as they used to, you're not alone. I've been telling people about the Tennessee Men's Clinic powered by Men's Pro for some time now. What I like about them, they've been doing this for years, and they're right here local to our community. They're not some fly-by-night organization. They're not some website. You don't know where they originate from, where they're getting their drugs from. Bottom line is this. You're working with true medical providers. You're working with qualified urologists that can find you the best possible solution in the easiest and most convenient way possible. What it takes from you is a telephone call, a decision to get this behind you, man. Get better today by calling today and scheduling an appointment. Right now, you can get a lab panel and a consultation for just $99 at any of their convenient Middle Tennessee locations, whether it be Clarksville, Cool Springs, Nashville, or Murfreesboro. They're here for you. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Make the call, make the appointment, and get relief and get back into the game, man. 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jumping on the phones here in just a moment. I do want to share with you this clip from this morning's Chris Hand show. Chris had Senator Marsha Blackburn on, who's also running for governor of the state of Tennessee. And we're going to share that with you in just a moment, specific to their discussion about the efficacy of medical marijuana and the possibility of medical marijuana becoming legal in the state of Tennessee. Seems like an issue that is largely supported by the listening audience. Maybe largely is too strong of a word, but I certainly believe that more. Let's put it this way. When I began my journey in this arena, political talk radio, I was 26 years old. That was 26 years ago. So for half my life, I've had the honor and privilege of speaking to people like you about issues like this. And I believe that there has been a tremendous shift in attitude regarding medical marijuana and regarding recreational marijuana during that period in time. And my point and my position is not pro-pot. It is pro-liberty. It is pro-freedom. And sadly, we have far too many people that get judged by the worst of these. And if we applied some of these, I mean, for example, now, while I understand that there is an amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America that codifies the sanctity of the gun ownership rights enshrines it into our Constitution, the premise is the same, that anytime I hear an argument against a personal liberty to use marijuana, I invariably hear how it is bad for society. Well, isn't that the same argument the liberals make about guns? That they're, quote unquote, bad for society? That's a big government approach. That is a scattershot approach to what ought to be a more pinpoint answer to the problem, in my opinion. So this morning, Chris had Marsha on, and I caught just a portion of this, wanted to share it with you for those who missed it, asked and answered. Here's the question regarding marijuana in Tennessee.
That we're talking with Senator Marsha Blackburn. I posed a question on X last night asking if anybody had questions for you, and this is a more Tennessee-specific question. We've had other candidates for governor weigh in on the marijuana issue in Tennessee. John Rose said that he's completely against it to the point where even if it passed via vote by the voters, he would veto it on his desk. Monty Fritz said that he's not a fan of recreational marijuana, but if the voters wanted it, he would be open to it. Where do you stand currently on medical cannabis or any reforms in the state?
I am not for the legalization of marijuana, whether it is for the cannabis, the THC-infused drinks, the recreational, the medicinal. This is something I think that has caused so many different issues. You look at the steps that were taken for kratom this year and the way the General Assembly moved forward on that, and making certain these laws that are on the books are enforced is something that needs to happen.
Do you think that kratom is in a different category than marijuana?
And, you know, Chris, I don't know that much about the intricacies. I just know that the addictive nature of this has caused a lot of concerns. We were looking at this federally, and I was so pleased that the state of Tennessee was leading the way in moving forward on the issue.
If it was put to a vote and it came to your desk, do you sign it or do you veto it as the governor of Tennessee for medical marijuana?
And I would think that would be something that I would veto.
Okay.
All right, so that's from the Chris Hand Show earlier today, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Senator Marsha Blackburn, who's also running for governor. A very similar comment as was made by John Rose some months ago. I think Chris asked the same question of John Rose, and he got a very similar response. And I'm curious if y'all have any thoughts on that. Now, Rich, for his part, says that I'm behind the times on this issue. He's calling from Murfreesboro, and he joins us on the Matt Murphy Show this afternoon. Hello, Rich.
Hey, Matt, always good to talk to you again. And I'm going to give you the experience of living in California for 20 years as so-called medical marijuana became legal. It became a problem, and it's a huge problem. You can't go anywhere without smelling marijuana in California because of the way that they have done it. And while I agree with you, the public perception has certainly swung to, hey, marijuana is okay. It's not a big deal. We see it in the numbers. We see alcohol sales down because people are switching to marijuana. But I think where we're really headed, there's already the pendulum is going back, that we're going to start to see that the psychotic effects of high THC marijuana is causing tremendous problems. The birth rate plummeting is linked to that. The fact that I cannot drive up Highway 24 on my daily commute without smelling it, typically at least once, if not 3 times a day. Society does not want those things, and
Wait, you smell it? You smell it in? You smell it in Tennessee? How so? It's illegal.
Well, illegal doesn't mean people aren't doing it. It means there's a punishment if you are caught doing it. We all know that.
Right. So you accept the idea that it's going on in the state of Tennessee?
Oh, yeah, I do. And you know what? When it comes, I have never smoked marijuana, so coming from that perspective. I'm also a cancer survivor. I know that it has some, in certain cases, positive medicinal effects, and we should treat it as such. So doctor-prescribed, pharmacy-filled, treated like an opioid medical marijuana, I'm all for. People on cancer going through some chronic things, I'm all for. I don't like marijuana, but you know what? If you want to smoke it and I never smell it and you're doing it in your own house and I never know you're doing it, then it never becomes my business. And that's okay. But what we're talking about with liberty is when you're doing it out in public around my kids. My kid has to smell it every day. My kid knows what marijuana smells like at 12. I didn't know what it smelled like at 20. Then we've got a problem that goes beyond a simple liberty issue.
Or just ban the public smoking of marijuana.
Well,
I mean, what's the big? I mean, I don't understand what the big deal is. I mean, much like we prevent individuals in many public arenas from smoking cigarettes because of the impact that it has on others that don't, you would do the same thing for the smoking of marijuana.
It's not just that. It's the whole distribution culture that develops around it. The marijuana shops, the marijuana growers, all of that is corrosive to society when done at scale. It's not the 60s stoner having a little bit.
So is alcohol. So is alcohol.
No, they are not the same, Chris. And it's
my name's not Chris. My name, Rich. My name's not Chris. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, it's one of those that we're always going to disagree on. And I've seen in my own family and extended family the horrible effects of alcohol. But you know what? I don't have to smell anybody else's alcohol.
I mean, once again, you keep going back to the idea of smell. Mine is not an advancement of the legalization of marijuana. Mine's the advancement of freedom and liberty to live a life of your own choosing without interference from others or from the government preventing you from doing so. And so if your argument is that you, as a non-smoker, should not be exposed to it in public arenas, I'm fine with banning the smoking of marijuana in public arenas. But that does not mean that we necessarily have to prevent me from consuming it or prevent others from consuming it medicinally or recreationally in the privacy of our own homes or in private spaces and still protect you and your right not to have to smell it.
You know, that's not my position. My position is because I've seen it lived out in California. I've seen the destructive of culture that happens at a much broader scale than alcohol does. That it's something that we do need regulation on and shouldn't be treated liberally in that way. It's just like we regulate what you can build it, and how we can build certain things.
So we should base the curtailing of liberties on how others might abuse a certain system or substance, regardless of how we use it.
No, we should ban things or regulate them based on how hazardous they are.
Like guns?
In that, because this is not a guns issue. Because
I'm just offering it at. No, Rich, I'm having a conversation. We're just talking here, right? I mean, you don't see the overlay there?
It's always the argument that's brought out, but guns have the purpose of defense from tyranny, and that's why they are written into the Second Amendment, and that's why that right is there. The getting intoxicated off of a very potent drug is a completely different part of our liberty and freedom and choices.
Unless you stated, unless a doctor gives the old thumbs up on it.
Well, we have all kinds of very dangerous drugs we use on a regular basis to treat medical conditions using the best science, such as that is. And I'll give you a lot of points on that one. But we have a structure and a framework that we can go through that to do that.
Do you think that structure and framework is currently working?
Well, it works better than what they did in California. That if we do it that way,
well. And you will not. I've never lived in California. I've never been to California. It's one of the few states I've not been to. However, you will not get any sort of supportive argument with me. I mean, what they tried to do is they tried to have it both ways. They tried to claim that it was a medicinal marijuana bill, and it was actually a recreational marijuana bill, created a free-for-all, and it was destructive in many ways to society. I believe that these things can be set up in certain ways that they do not deny the rights of other people while allowing individuals to live a life of their own choosing in a liberty fashion, right? I mean, you're probably right that you and I are never going to agree on this. I just don't understand how you square the circle of not wanting to do anything about the destructive nature of alcohol, which I would disagree with you, has been far more destructive than marijuana in American society. And I don't think it's even close. And because of the importance of the alcohol lobby and the alcohol industry within government circles, we don't hear anything about that. I'll give you the final word.
We're going to find out, because we're going to be taking this road, I think, one way or another. But I think once society as a whole gets a full taste of it that is more conservative than the liberal states, they're going to say, this doesn't do any good. It increases crime. It increases difficult things in our community, and we want nothing to do with it. At least I hope that's the case.
Well, I would encourage you to look into the medical uses and the medicinal use of marijuana as a solution to a lot of the medical situations that we see popping up. And I would encourage you that marijuana does have a lot of positive uses involved in the medical community that have not been fully explored because of certain aspects of its scheduling and categorization and the like. It's 53 after the hour. More conversation on this point. Good call, Rich. I appreciate the perspective, and I appreciate the disagreement. 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine delivered in a direct pay format. What that means is you pay Grace Point Healthcare. You can file with your insurance company for reimbursement if you so desire. But the bottom line is this. Their price point is what their price point is. You know exactly what you pay up front, which keeps costs low for everyone. Plus, if you enroll in the basic Smart Care plan, did you know? Thanks to the big, beautiful bill that you can now utilize your HSA, your health savings account, and pay for the Smart Care plan. $99 a month for the adults, $79 for the youngsters. Grace Point Healthcare is your primary care provider that treats the entire family from newborns to seniors. If you've got the sniffles, like I do, if you're not feeling well, like I don't, then you need to get to Grace Point Healthcare. They're located in Franklin, and in the heart of Franklin, they serve all of Middle Tennessee with efficacy, with a friendly attitude, and with that type of convenience that you deserve. Grace Point Healthcare. Call them today and schedule that appointment at 599-6868, 599-6868. We like to say it's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
Tracking another round of severe weather for Middle Tennessee. Ice storm survivors might be due some more money from the state. And James Comey indicted again. These stories and more at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Not enough time to get to your calls. We've got Dom in Nashville, wants to talk medical marijuana. Sean wants to respond to our previous caller who just rang us up and had a disagreement. That's good, though. I like that. I like the conversation, and I appreciate the call. Renee and Al and Marty will get to you as well. More conversation on this subject and others to include an update on what's going on with the storms tonight. James Comey was indicted. I don't think this is going anywhere. He was charged with threatening the life of the President of the United States of America. I don't think it's going anywhere. Look, I think James Comey should be in jail for a number of things that he did that were in violation of the law, to include politicizing the FBI to the point that he targeted a political candidate for office. That would be Donald J. Trump. These are reasons why James Comey needs to be in jail. James Comey does not need to be in jail for posting briefly something that said 8647. I don't believe that. Nor do I believe that, Jimmy Kimmel should be in jail. I would like to see ABC fire Jimmy Kimmel for a lack of viewership, not because Jimmy Kimmel made a bad joke, a crass joke. We believe in a country that is big enough where people can make nasty jokes and we can ignore them. 1 hour down, 3 to go. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news on Super Talk.
Another round of strong to severe storms possible across Middle Tennessee today. Forecasters say the highest concern, damaging winds along with pockets of large hail, but we cannot rule out tornadoes. Meanwhile, in Goodlettsville, Faith O'Neill describes to Channel 4 the moment a tornado may have ripped through her neighborhood.
I'm shaking a little bit, had a little bit of a panic attack. I was just kind of awoken by the loudest wind I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was kind of like suctioning wind, and like I thought it was hail hitting our house at first, but it was everything being thrown against our house.
National Weather Service surveying damage to determine whether any tornadoes actually touched down last night in Middle Tennessee. Meanwhile, ice storm Fern survivors in Tennessee have another form of financial relief available. The state is refunding up to $2,500 in sales tax for FEMA-approved residents. The refund covers taxes paid on eligible household items bought to repair or replace storm-damaged property. Survivors have 1 year from their FEMA approval date to apply for that state sales tax refund. Sources telling ABC News former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by federal prosecutors for a second time.
This grand jury indictment is focused on an Instagram post made and deleted by the former FBI director last year. It depicts a shell formation on a beach with the numbers 8647. James Comey was interviewed by the Secret Service after the post. At the time, President Trump and members of his administration accused Comey of making a threat against the president. Last year, a federal judge threw out an indictment that charged Comey with lying to Congress.
The United Arab Emirates pulling out of OPEC, the conglomerate of the world's top oil producers. Not clear what prompted the move, but the UAE has been taking a hit economically since the war in Iran began and tourism to the area has dipped. The news sent oil markets reeling, says ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
This is sending oil prices notably higher. We now have oil above $100 a barrel. And when you think about the impact of that on consumers and businesses, gas prices have been going up now at the fastest pace in the last 24 hours. In one of the fastest pace on record. This is the biggest 24-hour increase, sixth biggest in history.
Right now, Gas Buddy is putting the average per gallon in Middle Tennessee at $3.95. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn is pushing to give local governments more money if they partner with ICE operations.
If you're going to enforce the rule of law, which they all should be doing, but if they're going to do it, then they're going to be able to get an increase. And this puts in place the ability to penalize those jurisdictions that are not going to be enforcing the law.
So Blackburn tells WTN's Chris Hanshow she is pushing to give money from the Federal Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG, named after Edward Eddie Byrne, who was a New York City cop murdered in 1988 while protecting a witness in a drug case. As of today, 49 of Tennessee's 95 counties are partnering with ICE enforcement operations. That's the latest news. Weather is next. So is traffic. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill got a crash, 65 northbound at I-440. In Hendersonville, an injury wreck, Long Hollow Pike at New Shackle Island Road. Here in Nashville, Lebanon Pike just west of Spence Lane, there is a crash. And in Goodlettsville, we still have Ivy Point Road blocked due to storm damage between Cherry Hill Road and Greer Road. It is complete stop-and-go traffic if you are northbound the North Loop. And that's backing up eastbound 40 there west of downtown. And then eastbound 24 is complete stop and go from 440. So is northbound 65 up to the South Loop and eastbound 440 over to 24. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 8 minutes after 4 o'clock. Thank you for being with us. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We've got 3 more hours to go. Young Ryan is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as possible. Behind the glass is News Closet B. Ken Weaver awaits to deliver future headlines. Look who's in the studio with us today. It's we've got a very special studio guest. It is young Jay Willie, Action Jackson, Reaction Jackson, if you will. What are you doing?
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, not so great, but whatever.
Still feeling a little.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Got a cough.
I think it's terminal. Whatever.
I think
it
you're
is.
fine.
I think it's terminal. Whatever it is, we're all terminal cases.
It's just an itchy throat, bud.
It's an itchy throat. Well, a lot of drainage. Drainage.
A lot of drainage.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Thank you. Appreciate that. What are you doing in here?
Letting Ryan run the show.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. Brian, how did you kick him out, Ryan? Is that what happened? Give him the old boot.
Yeah.
Give him the old heave ho. Get the hell out of there. Go make good with his time. Are you making nice with Ryan? Are y'all making nice?
Yes.
You two boys making nice? Y'all play nice in there. I know how producers get when they get together. They start, cheese starts getting moved around. And
One thing's for sure, we don't have to listen to Rocky Top.
You didn't hear anything. Yeah. Did you hear him?
I heard Ken.
Did you hear him?
Ken's going to hear it enough whenever we play in football, basketball, or baseball this upcoming season.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That's good, Ken. I like that. You know what? That lack of sleep has not hurt that sense of humor, Weaver.
Well, that's about 3 pots of coffee.
Ken Weaver with us all evening long, covering the inclement weather that happened last night, and we thank Weaver for that. And we'll be with you tonight as well. I'm gonna stick around at least and make sure that there's nothing that goes down that you need to know about in the aftermath of the show at 7 o'clock. So we'll be here for you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Anything else on your end before I tell you to turn your microphone off and we move on to callers and what?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I don't have to yell this time. Remember, sometimes I have to yell from the back of the room.
Oh, that's true. I kind of like you in here. It makes me a little nervy, though. To be honest with you.
It's weird you being this close to me.
Weird for you. What about for me? Very uncomfortable. I tried to blow my nose on that shirt of his earlier, Ken.
He did.
I did. It was facts.
Facts. Fact check. True.
I said I need to blow my nose, and Jackson said, "Well, why don't you blow it then?" And so I went over and grabbed his sleeve, and he said, "No, not on my shirt, Matt Murphy." I think that was a pretty fair impersonation of
That
what
was
he said.
not. That was just inaccurate. That's fake news.
Heat some honey in water, squeeze a lemon in it, add 1.5 ounces of Tennessee whiskey. It will clear up whatever ails you. I agree with that, except what I would do, the one small change that I would make to that is I would throw out the lemon, leave the honey in the cupboard, not add the water, and do the whiskey. And I think that would be perfect.
And drink about 6 of them?
And drink about 6 of those, and everything's going to be fine once you go nighty-night.
I just need some throat coat.
Or some gummies.
Or some gummies, yes, sir.
Throat coat would be perfect for me right now. I wonder where I could find some throat coat. Oh, by the way, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Not only is this radio show single-handedly responsible for getting Freedom Vanilla at Wally's Bean Machine in the break room.
Yes, sir.
Because, Mandis and that morning crew on Nashville's Morning News, they yap a lot about it. We are men of action in the afternoons. And so Wally was Jackson was there. This is a true story.
I was.
We went in to see Wally. He was in there doing some work on the machine and, replacing some of the used items in the machine. And we said, Wally, have you heard that we want Freedom Vanilla, not French Vanilla? He said, no, I haven't heard that, but I can change it right now. I said, get to it, Wally, and he got to it. Well, now, in our honor, Ken, thanks to the Trash Panda Act passing the General Assembly.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've seen it, but next time you go in there, look on the selection list.
Okay.
And look at the espresso items.
All right.
You know what they're called now?
No.
Raccoon espresso. You can get you a single shot or a double shot of Raccoon espresso.
I'm going to get me a double shot right now.
Well, after you get that double shot, you'll feel like one of those wide-eyed bandits.
Yes.
Or try the woodpecker macchiato.
It'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
That's funny. It's on you like a ton of bricks. Like Weaver with a brick. Senator Blackburn says to go get some good Metro weed. I don't believe that. Sally says, I warned you, Matt. Jackson started a coup when you made him permanent on your show. Now look how close to the microphone is he, inch by inch. Sally, I'm beginning to understand what you're saying to me there. But Jackson's inching a little closer to the host seat, and I'm a little uncomfortable. Are we boring you, Jackson? You might want to get yourself a raccoon espresso if you're
I think I need
over there.
one.
Okay, well, get us both one. We'll slam that sucker down while I take some telephone calls. Renee is next on the phones at 14 after the hour. Hello, Renee. Welcome in.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It was really throwing me off because it didn't sound like Jackson that answered the phone. I'm like, oh, dang, did he get his gravitas back? But the reason why I was calling, just backstory.
I don't know why that makes me laugh. Hold on, Renee. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Renee referencing your
gravitas.
Renee, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good. I have met my bucket list for today and made y'all laugh.
You've done it.
Well, okay. So I wanted to call about the marijuana thing. All right. So backstory: I am a 100% disabled veteran. 7 years Marine Corps, 3 years Army. Yes, I know I'm crazy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're welcome. My pleasure. I suffer from a lot of things. I'm 100% in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I struggle with sleep. I've tried everything, medical, anything, everything. And I had a friend of mine, talk to me about gummies and have the same problem. So I'm like, all right, let me go over there. Let me go try it. It took me a bit to get the dosaging right because I do not like feeling high at all. I did all that garbage when I was a kid in high school and don't want to do that again in my 50s. So the gummies work. They work. And I am not down with recreational. I don't want to smell it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to smell it. I don't want kids to smell it. I don't want them to be like, oh, what is that smell? Why is it? Is there a skunk? I don't even like seeing bumper stickers that have bad language. And if I have my friends' kids with me, or if I'm out in town and I see a kid go, and like, Mommy, what does that F-U blank 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 say on the thing? That kids don't need to know that. They don't need to smell weed. They don't need to grow up any faster than they already are. So I don't agree with Marsha Blackburn. This makes me very angry that she said that she would not approve it. And the other guy that was running, he said that he wasn't going to approve it. The majority of your people want medical marijuana, at least. Now, if they do try to pass the recreational marijuana, I really hope that they have very stringent guidelines on that, where, like the other guy said, I don't want to go around smelling it. I'm the same way with that, like the earlier caller that you had. If you want to smoke your weed, you go ahead, but you do it in your home. I don't care what the heck you do in your home. Just do it in your home where I don't have to smell it. And I understand your argument that you had with the other previous gentleman, that we shouldn't have to, that we're in for freedom and we don't need to be restricting other people's, beliefs or suggestions. But I'm sorry. If your weed is, if I smell your weed, I mean, it's a
well, but so we have, my compromise position is simple, that if you make the consumption of marijuana legal in the state of Tennessee, you can still restrict those places where you're allowed to consume, much like alcohol. I can't walk. If I'm walking with a handle of vodka through a public park, and I'm just pounding the vodka in a public park, and a police officer sees me doing so, I'm going to get stopped and I'm going to get charged with public drunkenness, right?
Of course.
So we could have those same types of provisions. And frankly, it would be, in my opinion, easier to justify strongly, strenuously enforcing those provisions against people who choose to consume in public based on your concerns and based on your rights not to have to smell it or experience secondhand smoke.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with a smoker. I used to smoke. I was smoking 2 packs a day before, by the grace of God, I got delivered from smoking cigarettes. And I am one of those smokers where I can't stand the smell of it. I don't like it. I don't want to have to smell it. And I'm very grateful that cigarette smoking has gone down so much to where it's a rarity where you do smell the cigarette smoke. But that's the same thing with the weed. I mean, I walk out the door of my house in my neighborhood because I got somebody living next door to me and they want to smoke their weed outside on the back deck. And I told them, like, listen, I don't want to smell your weed. If you want to smoke weed, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But it's assaulting my senses.
No, I get it.
I mean, I don't smoke. Yeah. I'm a firm believer that the only thing in your lungs should be oxygen. I do the gummies. I like the gummies.
I get it. I appreciate the point, Renee. I appreciate the telephone call, and I certainly appreciate your service to your country. Marty and Al and Dom and Sean, we're going to carry this conversation a little bit further, and we'll shut it down at some point because I understand a conversation of this nature can overwhelm a radio show, and we've got other topics that we want to get to at some point. But we'll try to get to each and every one of you before that is happening. It's 20 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. One thing we can all agree on, bugs just bug you, right? Especially if they're trying to take over your home. And bugs try to do that in the state of Tennessee. It is time to attack those bugs with a simple premise, that if you utilize U.S. Pest and their bug prevention, you're going to better your family's health, you're going to better your home environment, and you're going to prevent these bugs from taking over the home that they want. Right? So 100% money-back guarantee on pest control, on termite prevention, corrective services available as well, and crawlsbait services too. It is all about your health. And bugs, well, you simply can't get a healthy lifestyle going if you've got bugs in your home. So if you're unsatisfied with your current pest control provider, or if you don't have a current pest control provider, I would encourage you to contact U.S. Pest. On the website, uspest.com, or on the phone, 590-1260, 590-1260. Tell J.K. and Erica Brister that Matt Murphy sent you to the best, to U.S. Pest. They love America, and they hate bugs at U.S. Pest.
All right, we're tracking another round of severe weather headed to Middle Tennessee. Another indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. And Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn gave WTN's Chris Hanshaw her thoughts on John Thune today. All this and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
2919 has written in, and it's as if he's channeling my own thoughts. So we're going to prevent people from smelling things that they find to be unfavorable. So do vegans get to demand that we're not allowed to grill meat outside? Can we outlaw perfume and cologne so nobody has to smell that? Good point. I mean, cologne and perfume, those that just bathe themselves in that garbage, they can provide, I mean, you know, it causes headaches in people that are susceptible to that sort of thing. And I just think it stinks and it really doesn't serve any service. So maybe we should ban it.
What about farts?
Sauerkraut. Oh, good to hear from the peanut gallery. Good job, man. Jackson and Ryan say, what about farts and sauerkraut? Great points, man. Appreciate you. It's time for Al. Hello, Al. How are you?
Great, Matt. How about you?
Al, I'm better than I deserve, buddy.
Did you get Mandis for dogging the Waffle House?
No, you know, I haven't talked to Mandis. I haven't seen him, actually, since I heard several people, yourself included, Al, let me know that Mandis was dogging out the old WH. And I can't believe, you know, it's hard for me to believe that he would do such a thing, and I have not had an opportunity to speak to him about it.
Well, anyway, back to our topic. It ain't perfume or cologne. It's called Essence of Herb.
Oh, yes. Herbal essence.
That smell? Yeah. Anyway, I think our neighbors to the north in Kentucky, even though he's a Democrat, Andy Beshears, makes our Republican General Assembly look like Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal men. And it makes you wonder if there's pharmaceutical lobbyists wandering the halls.
Well, Big Pharma has their hands all in this conversation, as does Big Alcohol. I can promise you that. I'm amazed.
Yeah,
I'm amazed with fewer and fewer people actually smoking marijuana, and you know, maybe I'm too far from the forest to be able to see the trees on this point. Al, thank you for the call, but I feel like more and more people are consuming THC in different ways. They're consuming it through like seltzer-based or, you know, liquid-based forms, or they're eating gummies. I'm fascinated with the number of people that are reaching out saying, well, I just don't want to smell it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to smell it. So if I can magically tell you that you never had to smell it again, so you're telling me that you don't object to the idea of someone having the personal freedom to do with their body what they choose to do with their body when it comes to a naturally occurring substance like marijuana. You just don't want to smell the smoking of it because you believe that that's somehow a violation of your rights. Robert writes in and says, I agree with that lady. If you're out in public, all over, wherever you go, you smell pot, even up and down the interstate. I'm sick of it. It may not be legal, but it might as well be because people are doing it and they're not going to do anything about enforcing it if it's illegal. That should not be able to be smoked in the state. Marty is next out of Spring Hill. Marty, thank you for your call. How are you?
Oh, great. You just told everybody in your listening audience it's me calling you. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wanted to talk about Marsha.
Marty, is it not you? Did you not call me?
Let's change my name to John. John Doe.
Okay.
Man, whoever takes your phone calls in there, let's have a meeting with him.
All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to reset here because I don't want to get off on the wrong foot. Marty's kind of pissing me off. Maybe it's because I'm sick and I want to yell at Marty, but I don't want to yell at Marty. You know what I mean? I'm inclined to yell at Marty. That's my emotional response, but I want to yell at Marty. And Marty doesn't want to be called Marty anymore. Marty wants to be called something else. So we're going to, when we resume the conversation after the news with Griffin and Bill and Sean hanging on, we're going to talk to Not Marty on line 3. This is Not Marty from Spring Hill, and we'll talk to Not Marty coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.430 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking another round of potentially severe thunderstorms that could pop up some tornadoes here in Middle Tennessee. Most of Middle Tennessee under a level 2 out of 5 slight risk, and Middle Tennessee's already dealing with storm damage from overnight. This man in Lawrence County telling Channel 4 he lost the roof to his business.
Probably can't say what I want to say on air, to be honest with you. No, it's just a mess. It's something that's got to be fixed, and we'll get it fixed.
National Weather Service surveying damage today to determine whether any tornadoes actually touched down. Another indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. This time, a grand jury in North Carolina returned an indictment over Comey's Instagram post from last year that has since been deleted that appeared to show seashells spell out 8647. The Justice Department claims those numbers allude to a threat against President Trump. And Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn on WTN's Chris Hand show today asked if it is time to replace Senate Majority Leader John Thune if he can't get the votes necessary to pass things like the Save America Act or end the partial government shutdown that is leaving immigration enforcement unfunded.
That is something that the next Congress will deal with. I'm going to be turning my attention after the governor's race to being governor for the state of Tennessee.
Blackburn did say she supports nuking the filibuster, but she says the votes are just not there to do it. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Berry Hill, a crash, 65 northbound right there at I-440. Look for a crash in Woodbine, 24 westbound at 440. Lebanon Pike west of Spence Lane, still working a crash there. In Wilson County, we've got a crash reported Central Pike east of Stewart's Ferry Pike. It is complete stop-and-go traffic north and southbound 65 between 440 and the South Loop downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy, and I'm here to tell you how much I support and believe in Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They're a smaller company with big service and big result-oriented hearts. I mean, that's what they do on a daily basis. They try to get you back up and running, whether it's your heater or your AC. And this time of year, it's the AC, right? So if you've been running the AC and you've noticed that you've got issues, if you've noticed that perhaps it's not running as efficiently as it could, then it's time to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They're never going to charge you on a maintenance call more than $125 in their service area. And oftentimes it's less than that. Plus, you get the maintenance guarantee that if they have to come back out after they maintenance your AC during the current season, that would be this spring and this summer, there is no charge for that service call from Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. He doesn't believe that you should have to pay twice. And, sadly, your AC has a life cycle. Your heater has a life cycle. We experienced that when we first moved into our home in Mount Pleasant. We had our unit replaced with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They did a great job. They gave us great recommendations on the right unit for our family, and they can do so for you. They're an Elite Pro partner with Ream, but they've got a recommendation for your lifestyle, your family, the size of your home, and whatnot. EfficientHVAC.net or call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for Efficient. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy and young Jackson's in the studio with us. Jackson's willing to answer any and all of your questions. If you got them, bring them on. Right, Jackson?
Yep.
Ryan's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. How's you holding up there, Ken?
How about you boys?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Fair to partly cloudy. 37 after the hour, we're going to line 3 where, wink, wink, John is on the line. Hello, John.
Hey, let's start over. I'll be me, and you won't even have to be mad at me anymore.
I'm good, John. You're all good.
I'm sorry you feel bad.
It's all on me. It's on me, man. I mean, I just need to get over myself. So I need to have a better attitude, and I need to have a better attitude with you. I do.
Well, you've met me before. To know me is to love me. So, hey, as far as Marsha goes, I wanted to ask you, do you think that there's any chance that she could have a change of heart if she was bombarded with phone calls? I mean, maybe if we told her that this could be a game changer in our vote for her?
Maybe. I don't know. I think she might soften her position to a certain degree. I don't know that she will ever have a change of heart regarding recreational marijuana use in the state of Tennessee, but perhaps we could have her soften her approach on medicinal or medical marijuana. Sure.
Well, I mean, soften's cool if it's her vote towards that, but, she might not give two rips about it if she's, kind of being paid under the table to not want any part of this.
I feel like older, and I'm not calling Marsha Blackburn old necessarily, although she is older than me, but old school conservatives or old school Republicans don't really want to have any conversation about this subject anymore because a lot of their younger conservative potential voters do not share the same position that they have on the issue. They're utilizing 30 or 40-year-old, not only data, but 30 or 40-year-old mindsets when it comes to this conversation, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, like cholesterol. I mean, they want to change the numbers on that as well. You know, but I mean, I'm old school. I'm not interested in smoking weed. Never have been. But I do know that there are people who medically benefit from the effects of the stuff. And I don't know. It just seems like she's up against a brick wall and doesn't want to go any further with the possibilities that this THC stuff can be good for people, you know. And I don't have a problem with anybody that does it, and I don't do it myself. It's not my thing. But, man, I appreciate you bringing up the subject, and I appreciate you bringing Miss Marsha up to the forefront here for all of us to rip on, I guess.
Yeah. Well, well, I mean, it seems that is the case. You know, anytime and thank you, not Marty, for the call. Appreciate you. Anytime we bring up this subject, we seem to have an imbalance of pro versus anti. And I don't necessarily ask for that to be the case. I mean, I understand it's easier to call a radio show when you agree with the host on a subject. I'm not asking you to agree with me on this subject. Mine is not, and I just repeat, a pro-marijuana position necessarily. Mine is a pro-freedom position. And I believe that each individual should have the opportunity to live a life of your choosing so long as you're not depriving others of their opportunity to do the same thing. Now, if you want to make an argument that walking down the streets of Broadway on a average Tuesday night and smelling marijuana in some way deprives you of your liberty, that's fine. We can create provisions by which individuals are not allowed to smoke in public. Although I learned something tonight. I made an assumption, very dangerous to do that. You know what Jackson, do you know what happens when you assume?
Yes.
And what is that?
You make an ass out of you and me.
That is correct, Jackson. Well done. And I assumed that we had a statewide public alcohol consumption provision prohibition in this state, and apparently we do not. I looked it up during the break because someone corrected me on the super text line and said, Matt, I don't think it's illegal from a state perspective for you to consume alcohol publicly. And I looked it up, and there is no universal or uniform prohibition of alcohol consumption, although most municipalities in the state of Tennessee have those prohibitions in their local ordinance. There is not a statewide prohibition. And there are a lot of variances on those local ordinances as to when and where you can consume. So I just needed to correct myself on that front. So that's what happens when you assume. Very dangerous thing. Sean is next in Bellevue. Sean, thank you for the call. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be on the same airways as the voice of reason. And by that I mean Ken Weaver, of course.
Ken Weaver. Thank you, Brother Sean.
Yeah, you know, this is the thing that it's bothering me about a lot of the callers that are coming in, and it reminds me of a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1816 to Virginia legislator Charles Yamson. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free, it expects what never was and never will be. The thing is about America is that we are, for the most part, a free society, not entirely so. So the focus of any of these types of arguments are always on the regulating responsibilities and use of the holding individuals and making them accountable for reckless behavior with whatever it may be. We talked about this with alcohol, with car driving, with guns, and so on and so forth. So taking those people's reckless behavior and then restricting access to everyone is not a part of the free society that we live in as Americans.
Yeah, what you're talking about is you don't judge the whole against the negative actions of the few.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, so we should establish that we default to freedom and that we utilize the representation that we elect to create local ordinance, state laws, federal regulation. We utilize those individuals to carve out niches by which we prevent the abuse of the rights of others through those carve-outs. I mean,
And there's a caveat to that, though, is that whenever the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government. And the thing is I just don't see that, as especially my generation, millennials, not well informed of even how the government works. And, can we really trust them? Can I really trust most Americans to vote in policies? Do they even know what policies they're voting in for when they hit that ballot box? And I would say most of the time, no, they're unaware. And by the way, a very interesting thing that you mentioned, you said they can't open up like a bottle of Jack Daniels and walk down the street with it here in America. You can do that in Japan, completely legal anywhere.
Well, apparently, and I don't know if you just heard me, Sean, apparently you can do it in the state of Tennessee too. I was unaware that there is, I looked it up, there is no statewide uniform prohibition of alcohol consumption publicly.
Okay, so they can get you for open bottle. They can't get you for plastic cup. So if you walk around with a plastic cup, you're fine. If you walk around with an open bottle.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, there's like you got to there's little weaving around there. It's what we call a loophole.
Well, loophole, baby. Jackson's shaking his head like he's utilized this loophole a time or two, probably in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you, Sean, for the call.
We are just working on providing for our constituents and their needs as the time passes, and we look to go America. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Two things. Number one, I just thought of a project for this summer. Number two, I just thought of the new Murphy mess around for tomorrow. Ken, we're running Jackson for something. Me and you, buddy. We're running him for something. I don't even care what it's for. We need to get his ass on a ballot somewhere.
The candidate with gravitas.
Uh-huh.
Bringing gravitas to the Metro Council.
What about dog catcher?
Jackson is too nice to dogs.
That's true. I don't think Jackson would catch a single dog. I mean, Jackson. I don't think
catch him and keep him.
Well, that's true. That's right. I don't think he's got the speed in him for one. Those little wily mutts would get away from. I'm just saying. You're a burly fella. I don't think you got the speed in you.
I'm not running for dog catcher.
That's what Ryan recommended you run for. We're disabusing him of that notion right now. Fair?
Well, I want something with more power. You can't give me something like the king of nincompoops and then expect me to run for dog watcher.
Well, apparently nobody on the Metro Council has any power.
That's true. Maybe we can demand that the brand new NES board, when we get those 4 new seats appointed, put you up for CEO of the NES.
Ooh.
I think you'd crack some whips. I think you'd crack some skulls and get things done. I think. 47 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Griffin is in lovely bucolic Watertown. Hello, Griffin.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
What's up, man?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hey, I can't really speak on anything regarding medical marijuana, but my concern is always that, we just always continue to push the line. So, if it goes, the medical use is allowed, then we just end up with more recreational use. And yes, I'm one of those that does not want to smell that smell anywhere. And you mentioned, the seltzers and the gummies and all this. And in my opinion, it's already too readily available. And there's also a big issue with as far as having it legal in the state, but say you go get a normal drug test for somewhere where the drug test is not specifying versus like THC or the whatever the Delta things are that, the gummies and stuff have. And I just look down the road and I think of somewhere like, Skid Row or California, and it's like we continue to always push the line further and further and make something else more acceptable, and we're more accepting, and by the time you know it, we've gone from gummies and stuff to people handing out, like they do in Skid Row, drugs and syringes and stuff to help them with their issues. You know where I'm going with this?
Well, I'm steadfastly against any sort of government program that would give individuals free drugs.
I'm with you, and you made a good point too. Where I'm with you, where you mentioned, our individual freedoms. I'm all about that. But if I can't say that we should justify people being able to alter their mind and decisions and motor skills even further in a recreational sense.
What is more liberty leaning or liberty loving than your ability to do with your own mind and your own person what you choose to do? I find it interesting though that you mentioned, Griffin, that you're all about liberty, but you said something, and I wrote it down when you said it because I wanted to ask you about it. You said, well, it's already too readily available anyway. And,
well,
and
I
my, and my thought, and my
look at it as a good thing.
Well, but my thought would be, according to whom?
According to me, in my opinion.
Right.
So, yes.
But what if? But I have a. But what if I? But what if I have a different opinion?
Well, that's fine, but we have to decide. There's the core values of what's right and what's wrong. I don't. I'm not going to make ridiculous arguments about, well, why can't somebody do this if they freely want to do it, right? But as far as getting in that different state of mind, I don't think it's beneficial for us as a society, and especially to have it, publicly and on our streets and people riding around. I mean, if you take one drive basically anywhere now and roll your window down, you're smelling pot or you're behind somebody that's already smoking it, and it's just not a good idea.
Man, I don't know what neighborhoods y'all are going through on a regular basis, but the listening audience of this radio show, y'all smell a lot of pot.
Hey, I drive all over Middle Tennessee for my work. All over, all the way from Gallatin down to Columbia. Of course, I live in Watertown and go out to Fairview. I mean, everywhere. And I'm telling you, maybe not every single day, if I went in the right places every day, but several days a week, man, I'm behind somebody that is smoking a joint in their car, and I'm smelling it with the AC and windows rolled up and my Recirc air conditioning on. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere, country or city.
You call that in though, Griffin, or no?
I don't. Probably should. That's a good idea. I probably have before. I'll say that.
Because I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong, and this is the interesting aspect of this is that and I think it's why the nature of this discussion is so compelling to me. Where do you draw the line on what is the responsibility of an elected government and what is not? And I do not believe that it is the role of government to determine laws based on what they as elected bodies believe is right or wrong. Their role is more specifically designed to ensure that the rights of Griffin and Matt Murphy are not encroached upon by others.
Right. And, I'm going to be very careful in saying this because, number one, let me preface that I believe that it's our responsibility to protect ourselves. But, an elected governing body or official also needs to, protect those that elected them, if that's what we're electing them to do. And I would say that we currently are. So for the sake of the argument and the opinion, dangerous roadways and impaired drivers is not protecting us. And to answer on another question you asked, why do I not call it in, or do I not? That you can't tell the difference of the smell versus what's legal in a gas station versus what grew in Mexico and come over the border.
Well,
so
and I don't know. I thought we passed laws where nothing's legal in the gas station anymore from a smoking standpoint.
I know a couple states have done it, but no, sir.
I think we did. I need to find out when that goes into effect. But yeah, they clamped down on that THCA and the flour and the burnable flour and the combustion of the flour. I think that is the case now. Griffin, great call. I appreciate the perspective. I'm fascinated in a state where we have clamped down on the smokability of marijuana, the amount of people that would tell me that they smell regularly marijuana smells emanating particularly from the interstates. I mean, I smell it from time to time. I get what you're saying. It's 54 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking the potential for severe weather in Middle Tennessee tonight. Right now, the threat level is 2 out of 5. A slight risk, and we can't rule out tornadoes. Kind of like yesterday and overnight, but we're told that the risk for tornadoes is lower tonight than they were overnight. And Middle Tennessee is dealing with damage from storms overnight. This man in Lawrence County telling Channel 4 the roof of his shop blew off.
Oh, I mean, it happens. Oh, good Lord does stuff for a reason, I guess. So this is one of them.
National Weather Service surveying damage today to determine whether any tornadoes actually touched down overnight. And Tennessee residents impacted by the ice storm may be eligible for up to $2,500 back in state sales tax refunds. To qualify, homeowners or renters must have received FEMA individual assistance for damage to their primary residence. The refund applies to sales tax paid on items like major appliances, furniture, and certain building supplies. Claims must be filed within 1 year of the FEMA decision letter through the State Department of Revenue. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn letting it be known how she feels about marijuana. She tells WTN's Chris Hanshow this morning.
I am not for the legalization of marijuana, whether it is for the cannabis, the THC-infused drinks, the recreational, the medicinal.
And Chris asked what she would do if there was a vote and a bill for medical use was put on her desk and she was the governor.
And I would think that would be something that I would veto.
Blackburn did praise the Tennessee General Assembly for passing a bill that bans the legal sale of kratom. And former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by federal prosecutors who've charged him with threatening the life of President Trump. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with more from D.C.
Current FBI Director Kash Patel says his predecessor's predecessor, James Comey, threatened the life of President Trump by posting a picture of shells on a beach, forming the numbers 8647.
Shortly after posting that threat, he deleted that threat and then issued an apology.
Now, nearly a year later, a grand jury in eastern North Carolina has approved a 2-count indictment, with each count carrying a maximum of 5 years in prison. Last year, a federal judge threw out another indictment that had a Virginia grand jury charging Comey with lying to Congress. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, complete stop and go brake tapping eastbound 440 between 65 and 24. And then if you're trying to go northbound on the North Loop from eastbound 40 west of downtown, you're coming to complete stops. We've got a crash in Woodbine. This is going to be 24 westbound there at I-440. Also, Lebanon Pike west of Spence Lane. Then Briley Parkway northbound past Averett Express Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 7 minutes after 5. Thank you for being with us. Tuesday edition in progress, April 28. It is episode 1026 of our gatherings together. You can find us on a variety of platforms. Obviously, the FM dial, 99.7 FM. Might want to keep that in mind. We always tell you, in these times of inclement weather, right? We had some nasty weather move through the area last night, expecting some more nasty weather to come through the area tonight. I like to remind you that the best case scenario is that you have a battery-powered operational radio at some point or someplace in your home. Because if you do, that gives you the ability, no matter what else happens, maybe your phone is dead, maybe your power goes out, you still have an opportunity to get information. One of the reasons that we are here on your radio dial in the event of a tornado warning, as Ken Weaver was throughout the evening last night. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of the show. We have been primarily discussing marijuana, medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, based on a conversation that a good friend and colleague Chris Hand had with Senator Marsha Blackburn earlier today. We played you that clip at the beginning of the show. I'm here to tell you that we're going to do one more segment on it. I'm going to try to clean as many phone calls out as I can, and then we'll move on to a few other matters that have gotten our attention. I don't know why the lights do that every day at this time, but they do. They just they're loud. And here they go. So we've got a few other things. I am nowhere close to 100%. I don't know what's going on with me, but I apologize for the nature of this radio show. It is a C- at best thus far, and we'll try to do a little bit better. 615-737-9986. In the meantime, I believe Robert is next. Hey, Robert, how are you?
How you doing, Matt?
Doing well, Robert. Thank you for the call.
So before I get into it, I myself call myself like a small L libertarian as well. I kind of like let people do their own thing. But when we're talking about legalization of marijuana and things like that, where you draw a line on like what drugs that you would say, the government needs to keep their hands off of, or like let people decide? There's like a specific drug set that you say we shouldn't be legal or allowing for?
I believe that naturally occurring substances that individuals should have an ability to access naturally occurring substances. The line that I would draw is the ability that humans have, pharmaceutical companies and other chemical companies have, in getting into laboratories and creating things that are not naturally occurring.
So, like, you would be fine with, like, cocaine, but not methamphetamines?
Correct.
Okay. I can see that. I like that line pretty good. I am in law enforcement. My big thing is that whatever lawmakers decide, they need to figure it out so that it doesn't
because all this back and forth and wishy-washy stuff makes my job really hard. And you had some callers talking about the smell of marijuana and stuff coming from the vehicle. We get calls all the time of people smoking inside their residence and apartment complexes, things of that nature. And it is hard to enforce anything when we don't have ordinances on the smell of marijuana coming from a residence or anything like that. And with it being possible hemp, there's nothing really we can do in that matter. Now, if they're driving down the road and you smell the marijuana and you want to call that in, it could be an indication of possible intoxication. There's laws against that, obviously, same as drinking and driving. If you smell somebody that smells like a brewery when they get in the car, it'd be the same difference. But when it comes to like the methamphetamines and things like that alter your mental status, I would have a hard time agreeing with that, because there's people all the time that do one meth one time and it changes the chemical makeup in their brains and they kind of go crazy. Personally, my sister was that way, and she had a boyfriend that talked her into trying it one time, and next thing you know, that changed her mindset. She thought people were following her. She was getting fights all the time. She ended up getting murdered a couple years ago after all that. And so things like that, we have to keep illegal.
Robert, do y'all often get calls for something like, the smell of marijuana in a location or in an automobile? I mean, that happens to a certain degree?
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's apartment complexes calling in, like somebody in one apartment says, hey, my neighbor upstairs is smoking marijuana. It's coming through my vents, things of that nature. And there's no ordinance on saying, hey, it's, a nuisance or anything to smoke marijuana, just like it's not against an ordinance to smoke cigarettes and the cigarette smell come to the vents.
Or, or cook with a obnoxious flavor, like, cook up, a big old bait of fish and it's just stinking up the apartment complex or whatever it might be. Yeah, I get you.
Of course, we go out to these situations and try to explain that, but half the time people are like, well, it's illegal to smoke marijuana, and we got to explain to them that we can't just knock on the door and say, hey, are you smoking marijuana? I mean, I guess we could, but not a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'm smoking marijuana in here. But a lot of times they have to go, we just refer them to their apartment management or something of that nature. But when it comes to the roadway, if you're behind somebody, and I'm on the motor unit, so I'll ride a motorcycle around, and if I can smell marijuana coming from the vehicle as I'm behind it, that gives reasonable suspicion that they're smoking marijuana or smoking something at that time, I can make contact with them and see, based on their behavior and things at that time, if they're under the influence of the marijuana, because the big thing right now is the intoxication and driving.
Right.
A lot of times.
Is there there's not really is there a standard test for driving under the influence of pot?
There is standard field sobriety for intoxication.
Yeah, just generally speaking. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, generally speaking, there's a test. Now you can go further in your knowledge of, you go through AROD, which is Advanced Roadside Impairment training. You got DREs, which are drug recognition experts that go further into training. There's certain tests that they can do after you're standardized to narrow down what the intoxication may be versus like if they're on cocaine or if they're on some kind of medication, if they're intoxicated through THC or alcohol. And then once in the state of Tennessee, we're not allowed to do roadside tests. So you don't have breathalyzers. And
Well,
things like
one of these days, Robert, will you call me back and can we? I don't have time to do it now, but can we have a conversation about why that is? Because I've had conversations in the past regarding the lack of breathalyzers on roadsides, and I don't know that I quite understand it, but I've got to do that at a different time. But maybe we can do it sometime.
Yes, sir. Glad to.
All right, man. Thank you for the call. Thank you for your service to your community. We appreciate the LEOs that choose to listen, and especially those LEOs that choose to give us a call and lend us their expertise on these subject matters. I'm going to move through as many as I possibly can before we shut her down. Moochie is next. What's up, Mooch?
What's up, man? How you been, man?
Fair to partly cloudy, Moochie. How about yourself?
No, I'm living. But I just want to reflect a little bit, like the guy that called in before the guy, the officer there. Him, that's pretty low down just to call in on someone just because you smell marijuana. Like you gonna ruin somebody's life. I mean, if he's holding the lane, let that smoker be. I don't know about just calling in on people like that. And I hate reefer madness because that's what really has put a bad black eye on marijuana, because I've been smoking all my life, and you wouldn't even know if I was high if you were talking to me. So I don't know about all that. And actually, I work even better. I work harder. I don't miss work. I guess you're a functioning addict, whereas people that do, prefer to drink, they're not able to do that. And, I don't know. I got laser focus whenever I partake, as the smokers call it. And all the smokers out there, if you are riding and smoking and they smell it, that's a DUI. That's going to ruin your life. So I would not do that.
Well, most people that go to work on a regular basis are on drugs. They're on caffeine.
Yeah, nicotine.
Nicotine or caffeine,
exactly.
yeah.
Stimulant.
Yeah.
So the guy talking about the comparisons between methamphetamine and cocaine, man, get out of here. And, remember when Biden was handing out crack pipes? Nobody remembers that.
Well, I think the nature of his question was regarding where I draw the line in terms of what should be a personal liberty matter and what should be a matter for government to intervene and say we're not going to allow those types of things. And for me, it's an easy place to draw the line is this a naturally occurring substance? Can I grow this substance on my property? Can I consume it, beyond any government interference? Or do I need to go to some sort of, laboratory in order to obtain this product through some sort of chemical reaction within the laboratory? And that's kind of where I draw the line because,
And I agree with you, by the way.
Yeah. Nowadays, you got a lot of people, a lot of entities that are attempting to create these, these drugs in labs and who knows what the hell they can do to you and what they can't do to you. So that's just where I draw the line. Moochie, I appreciate the call. I'm going to get to as many as I can. Before we move on from this subject, a lot of interest in it. And let's see who is next. I believe it's Robin on line one. Hey, Robin, how are you?
Know your neighbors.
Hello, Robin.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, okay, so listen, I'm just going to say I do not think that Marsha Blackburn is going to change her standpoint on this. Medical or recreational, period. That would get her in the weeds. I think she is for conviction, and that's what's going to happen. Now, I would be more than happy to write her an email on the medical part because I do believe in it. It's better than a pill, depending on your circumstances. I have to revisit something in my head that was, several years back, and it was a Nashville couple, elderly couple, and his wife was having seizures. And there was a conviction because he was supplying her with something. I don't know how it was being, once again, some time ago, so probably not the fancy stuff that, everyone has now. And her seizures stopped and she was better. But there was a conviction because someone reported them and turned them in. And it broke my heart when I heard that story. it just broke my heart. And then several years after that, I had my own incident. And my husband is ex-police back in the day, and he has his very strong conviction about drugs as well. And I had MRSA in a muscle in my back, and the CDC had to release me, but I had to be on antibiotics at home, IV antibiotics for 3 months. And I was so nauseous because it's just rushing through your body for 3 months, and I was losing weight. My husband made a phone call for me, and it was probably the most loving thing that he has ever done. At that time, I was like, wow, you really do understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a short time situation, but boy, it was everything to me at that time. And that's not even cancer, Richard. That's not even cancer. I can only imagine. So I believe in it. And listen, you can get the sublingual, and the doctor will give you the sublingual for the nausea, but they can only give you so many of those because they're not allowed to give you that many of them.
Right.
1, because they can't. 2, because it's so harsh on your body. I mean, it's so harsh on your organs. So they dole that out. And, it's just, I don't think she's going to change. I think she's a lovely lady. I think she's a very intelligent woman. But she's kicking the old school. I get it.
Yeah, I get it too.
Not that she could not come up of that. That's for sure. However, I think that it would get her, pardon the pun, in the weeds.
I just think there's an opportunity for one of the gubernatorial candidates, and Robin, thank you for your telephone call, to distinguish themselves by recognizing that there's a growing amount of conservatives within the Tennessee population that believe that there is a medical opportunity for individuals that are suffering that we could be utilizing, not even the recreational side of it. I wouldn't even pretend that a majority of conservatives are in favor of recreational marijuana, although that might be the case. But this is just not 1996 anymore. It's 2026. Now, Marcia, I would imagine, has held the position that she currently holds for a long, long time. I would also suggest that as a House of Representatives member, as a United States Senator, that Marsha Blackburn probably does not need to sit in front of many individuals that are suffering and listen to their stories that I've heard over my last 26 years of doing talk radio more times than I could possibly recount. More individual stories than I can imagine that I've lived through and heard about over the 26 years that I've been doing this, of people who are in very much a bad way and found relief through the appropriate medicinal use of marijuana or cannabis. 615-737-9986. We will absolutely be done with this subject by 5:30. We'll move on to Nincompoops in the News at that point. Until then, we'll get to as many as we can, 24 after the hour on Super Talk.
Potentially severe weather making its way to Middle Tennessee, and overnight storms caused plenty of damage without this next round. And if your home was damaged in the winter storm, good news, you might be due some more money. And Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn asked if it is time to replace Senate Majority Leader Tom Thune. We'll tell you about that at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That news coming up in just a minute or two. I also have some great news that I just found out about.
All right.
I won nincompoops in the news yesterday, Ken.
Oh, that's not good news.
That's great news.
I'm protesting the results.
You were sitting here while Jackson was like, I won. And I was like, I think I won. I recounted. I won. It is official. The win happened. We're moving on from it. It is over. We are, we just, I mean, you have to accept that every so often, men, Matt Murphy comes out a winner on nincompoops.
Objection.
Overruled.
Sustained.
You're in contempt.
See, you have a little less power in this room than you do in that room.
Yeah, I don't like this. I can't turn your mic off.
All right.
I can't play Rocky Top.
Correct.
I don't have my announcement horn.
You don't have.
What the hell am I doing in here?
I don't know.
And I got to look at you face to face. There's not this lovely piece of glass in between us. And I don't get to talk to Ken Weaver.
That's right, Brother Jackson.
I miss you, Ken.
I miss you too, brother.
Oh, Ryan's got to do some training there, Jackson. You have to sacrifice for the man's training. Maybe you can go in there and show him where the horn is.
I know one thing I can do.
What's that?
It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Middle Tennessee under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather today. In fact, all of Middle Tennessee and all of southern Kentucky under a severe thunderstorm warning. And West Tennessee is under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And in fact, the watch area right now is experiencing some severe thunderstorms. They're in West Tennessee, and all this activity is moving this way. Overnight, storms caused plenty of damage. Jessica O'Neill telling Channel 4 what happened to her home in Goodlettsville.
It was about 2:31. I got an alert on my phone about a tornado in my area, which is Ivy Point. And at 2:33 this morning, the sound of a train and the roaring was coming through my house.
Now, National Weather Service has been surveying the damage to determine whether any tornadoes touch down overnight. And if your home was damaged in Winter Storm Fern and FEMA approved your application, you could get money back from the state. Tennessee's offering sales tax refunds of up to $2,500 on qualifying replacement purchases. Eligible items include appliances, household furniture, limited building materials. Applications must include receipts and can be filed online or by mail with the Tennessee Revenue Department. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn on WTN's Crass Hand Show today was asked if it is time to replace Senate Majority Leader Tom Thune if Thune can't get the votes necessary to pass things like the Save America Act or end the partial government shutdown that is leaving immigration enforcement unfunded.
And that is something that the next Congress will deal with. I'm going to be turning my attention after the governor's race to being governor for the state of Tennessee.
So a non-answer there. Blackburn did say she supports nuking the filibuster, but says they don't have the votes to do it. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Woodbine got a crash 24 westbound right there at I-440. East Glencliff, an accident. Briley Parkway northbound past Averett Express Drive. In Murfreesboro, we got a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder, 24 eastbound right there at I-840. Now, we've got complete stop-and-go brake tapping northbound 65 up to the South Loop, both directions of the west and South Loop between 65 and 40 west, and then eastbound 440 over 224. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I've got a question for you. Do you know if you're getting the most out of your health insurance with your current program or policy? Do you know? If you don't know, if the answer is no, Murph, I don't have any idea, then I would encourage you to make a call that so many others have made to what will be your personal health care concierge for the foreseeable future, and that is Shane Ring at Cover Nash. They shop all of the programs available to you in this state. Shane has an incredible knowledge of health insurance, better than anyone I've ever spoken with regard to this industry. He understands it forwards and backwards. He understands that open enrollment is just a phrase that people use to prevent you from feeling like you have empowerment in order to make different decisions as to how your family's covered and how you're covered as well. Did you know that you can save 40 to 60% off of what you're currently spending and keep the same great coverage? Did you know that you don't have to play by Washington's rules? If you're self-employed, uninsured, or simply tired of paying too much, it's time to get all of the options on the table through Shane Ring and Cover Nash. It starts with a telephone call. You can visit him in his Brentwood office, or everything can be done by phone. 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at covernash.com. That's covernash.com. Real coverage on your terms, not the government's. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 38 minutes after the hour. It is a show that has been dominated by marijuana talk today. I blame Chris Hand and Marsha Blackburn. Those are two people that I blame. I also blame my illness, which has descended back upon me like a ton of bricks, like Ken Weaver killing a woodpecker.
Me and Chris Hand hanging out Friday.
Y'all are hanging out Friday because I will not be here Friday. That'll be fun for you, huh?
Yeah.
You can get a little less Murphy, a little more Hand.
I've been requesting it.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. Hand is sliding in here on Friday for me, and in his absence on his show, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, young Joan Jones will be hosting from 9 until noon, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I know many of you are very excited about that. One of these days, we'll get Ken Weaver in here hosting a show.
No, that's too much talking.
I want the Weaver show desperately.
Well, I mean, it was the Weaver show last night, better part of an hour or so. That's what I heard. Or how long were you on last night, Weaver?
I think all told, probably about an hour and 15 minutes, something like that.
Man, oh, man.
And it was just me.
Just Ken and you, the listening audience.
That's what his show would be called, Just Ken.
I'm pretty sure his radio show would be called I'm Ken Weaver.
I'm Ken Weaver.
Just like that, huh?
Or he could go the Bed Bath & Beyond route and be Woodpeckers, Weavers, and Beyond.
That's pretty good, Jackson. I've got nothing to say about that except to point, and hopefully the music starts right now.
Nincompoops in the news.
9773 says, y'all, I just do the news, boys.
I just do the news, boys. Yes.
Indeed. It is time, friends, for Nincompoops in the news, an opportunity for us to examine those nincompoops where they live and where they breathe. We look all throughout the state of Tennessee, all across these United States of America. Hey! The globe. We find those nincompoops. We present those nincompoops, and then you vote for a nincompoop of your choosing, either Jackson Williams, Matt Murphy, or Ken Weaver. I'm proud to note that every so often, I win. And I won yesterday. Very happy about that. All right, so I get to pick the order of things, and I'm going to go ahead and say... Now, see, I would let you go first, Jackson, but I told you the nature of my story, and I feel like you're dastardly enough that if I let you go first, but that somehow, some way, you would figure out what my story is based on the nature of said story, and you would do my story. And I don't want you to do my story.
I can give you Scout's honor that I won't.
Were you ever a scout?
No.
Ken, you will go first today. I will go second. Jackson will bring up the rear.
I get to go first.
Ken Weaver, you're going first.
All right. Real quick, everybody, get a good look at this Nincompoops trophy.
Oh, look at it. Look at him.
In News Closet B,
There
where
it
it
is.
belongs.
Oh, dear. For the last 2 weeks, it's been there.
I just win trophies, boys. Yeah.
I like cocky Weaver.
All right, here we go. This out of Valentine, Nebraska. Pool ball allegedly used in threat against officer at Valentine, Nebraska bar.
Ooh.
59-year-old Valentine man facing charges after police say he verbally harassed customers at a local bar and threatened an officer. Gary Turkey is charged with criminal trespass and disturbing the peace. According to court documents, officers were called to the Skylight Bar on March 20th at about 11 o'clock at night for a report of a man who had been asked to leave but refused and was verbally assaulting customers. When an officer arrived, he reported that Turkey was being loud, yelling obscenities and disrupting the business and its customers. After being told to leave, Turkey asked the officer for a ride. As the officer made arrangements, court documents state that Turkey became combative, yelling obscenities and threatening to beat the officer.
Ooh.
While escorting Gary toward the front entrance, Gary grabbed a pool ball from on top of the pool table next to the entrance with his left hand while stating he was going to kick my ass.
He was going to kick your ass, Weaver?
No, sir. That's the police officer.
That was a quote.
Yeah, this was a quote.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he's threatening Ken Weaver.
I was able to get the pool ball from Gary's hand, and during the struggle, Gary was pushed toward the front entrance, fell against the door, and fell outside onto the sidewalk, according to the officer. After being taken to the Cherry County Justice Center for booking, the affidavit states that Turkey attempted to physically assault a jailer by grabbing him and again threatening him using obscenities. So Gary Turkey, he's not a happy drunk.
His last name's Turkey?
Yep, Gary Turkey, 59-year-old Gary Turkey of Valentine, Nebraska.
Don't be a turkey. That guy's a turkey more than a nincompoop, in my opinion. My opinion. That's pretty good. Here we go. No, it's not your turn. It's my turn. I said you're going last. Come on, Jackson. Oh, by the way, before I forget to repeat this, I should probably not say this on the text line, but somebody said it. Said, I'm going to start yelling, I'm Ken Weaver when I'm making whoopee. That's what the guy said on the text line.
And I've got some news for you.
I will. Oh, I don't know what to say about all that. I don't know what to say about all that. And then, why am I getting hell from 9777? You're always an ass to your callers, especially. I haven't been a butt today. I don't feel like. And if you are you, yeah, no, so 6, 7.
I've seen you be meaner.
Okay, well, I'm just sick today. But 9777, I appreciate you listening. Okay, back to it. Here's my nincompoop. A Massachusetts woman who deployed a swarm of honeybees as a weapon against deputies during an eviction has been found guilty by a jury. April 17 of this year, 20 and 26.
That took a while.
Rory Susan Woods was found guilty on 4 counts of simple assault and battery, along with 2 counts of reckless assault tied to the incident.
Wow.
On October 12, 2022, deputies from the Hampden County Sheriff's Office were carrying out an eviction notice when Woods arrived in an SUV pulling a trailer which was stacked with honeybees. Video shows Woods getting into a physical altercation with the deputy on the back of the trailer before breaking open a hive. She smashed the lid with her hand and flipped one of the hives off the flatbed. The bees came out, said Sheriff Nick Kochi in an interview with WCVB. Unleashed and swarming, angry. They started stinging everyone there. When told that some deputies had bee allergies, Woods allegedly replied, "Oh, you're allergic? Good."
Good grief.
The video goes on to show Woods putting on a beekeeper's suit. Well, of course she did.
Yeah.
According to officials, she then carried a tower of hives to the home's front entrance and attempted to agitate the bees further. She, shook them up.
Goodness.
She was still wearing the bee suit when officers tackled her to the ground and took her into custody. Woods did not know the tenant of the building. She had been known to protest other evictions in the Boston area. So this is what you need to know. This was not her house. She just found out that someone was being evicted and decided to swarm bees on the officers that were committing the eviction. Woods said no, it was not her property, but that she was peacefully protesting the eviction of a neighbor. Several deputies and sheriff's staff suffered numerous stings, including one who was stung about the head and face.
Goodness.
One employee was taken to the hospital. The incident also resulted in the deaths of thousands of bees.
Now, see, that's a shame.
Disqualification. The bees died.
Jackson.
Is this not, or is this nincompoops in the news?
This is nincompoops in the news.
Did or did not something die?
Humans cannot die.
Yeah, it's in the bylaws of the Nincompoops Charter.
It's the humans that can't die. Critters we can kill. Insects can die. Humans cannot die. I understand how you might be a little confused over that, but no death of human beings. Bees in the thousands have died. Woods has been sentenced to 6 months in jail and will receive credit for 148 days already served. Woods was initially scheduled to stand trial August 2025, but she fled to Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's a local connection, y'all.
Yeah. See, this is an old story. We haven't done it on Nincompoops. Weber read this story.
Oh, really?
But this is the update.
Okay.
She's fine.
She's finally back.
We finally know she's going to spend 6 months in jail.
Well, I was wondering that's why you said this took a while.
Right.
Okay, well, there you go. She's finally been sentenced, 148 days served, 6 months in jail. That lady, the beekeeper woman,
yes,
is my nincompoop. Jackson?
Yes.
Your story.
Man busted for Subway stale bread rage.
It's already been done, Jackson.
Oh, we already did that one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Friday.
Do you have a backup?
I do have a backup.
Good for
Let
you.
it go, Brother Jackson.
There you go, buddy. That's the way to do it. Don't think you can mine that smoking gun website on me, buddy boy. I already looked over there last week. I don't even know why you're even over there. If you go over there, that story's a day old. You might as well keep on moving because it's already been moved or used.
Pastor who wrote book on how to love spouse arrested over allegations of multiple wives.
Okay, that's pretty good.
A religious leader and relationship guru has been arrested on bigamy charges in Florida after reportedly announcing he had married his second wife on his Facebook page.
Oh, my.
He's giving you a little audio support there. Look at there.
Little gravitas.
Yeah, your fellow producer there giving you some gravitas.
A Christian leader who announced he had a new wife on Facebook despite being already married has been arrested on bigamy charges in the United States. Leslie Williams updated his profile on the social media app to married, even posting a picture of his new wife, Cindy, along with a caption, "Thanks for all the wonderful comments referencing my saved, beautiful, and talented wife, Mrs. Williams. She's saved for real, praise God." An investigation to whether the 62-year-old had multiple wives was launched, with cops visiting Williams' home in Florida on Wednesday with an out-of-state warrant. Williams, who was not home at the time, was later spotted by police driving nearby in his pickup truck, at which point he was arrested. He was then taken into custody and booked into the county jail without bond, according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office.
Wow.
Bigamy, a federal crime in many U.S. states, and it found guilty offenders can receive fines and even jail time. As well as reportedly working as a pastor, Williams is also a published author, having released a Christian relationship guide in 2017 called Love Her Like This. Loving has never been deeper.
What? Damn.
Love as many as you can.
It was subtitled, I'm Ken Weaver. 8403 says, 8403 says, what are y'all talking about? That's what my wife screams at me when we make whoopee. So your wife screams, I'm Ken Weaver. Well, now it's just getting weird. I'm Ken Weaver.
Ken Weaver's the hottest new cosplay.
Oh.
And before you know it, they're going to start selling little Ken Weaver goatees.
I had a fella send me a picture of some T-shirts he was offering to make.
That says I'm Ken Weaver?
Yes.
Hell yeah, they do. I love it. Let's hit the music, Ryan, and that's how we do it. Nincompoops in the news. I would invite you to vote for Matt Murphy and not for Jackson Williams.
Vote for me.
2774 thinks you should have saved that one, Jackson. I don't know why. It was pretty good.
I had that one yesterday. I was saving it.
Jackson.
Can't let Weaver get it.
No, you gotta strike while the iron is hot, as
Son
they
of a
say.
biscuit eater.
That's how we play it. Vote Weaver, vote Murphy, vote Jackson, vote early, vote often. 615-737-9986. It's the Matt Murphy Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Cannot believe I'm not getting more votes right now. Cannot believe I'm not getting more votes. The woman attacked the cops with bees. It wasn't even her house.
Well, and then she left that some of them had allergies.
She said, oh, some of you have allergies? Good. And then she screamed, I'm Ken Weaver. Anyway, more on that in a moment. Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they have three questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Friends, Eurofix for 26 years has built its business on answering those questions, all three with an emphatic yes. Back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself in a one-car garage in downtown Franklin. A few months later, he moved into a shop and a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family. And for 26 years, he was focused on building the best practice in this community and in this state, and he did so. Fast forward to today, the barn's long gone, and sadly, I'm here to tell you Aaron's gone too, but the Eurofix tradition lives on, and they're thriving with 5 separate locations. Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, a rental car available at every appointment. So ask yourself, can you trust them? Do they care? Are they committed to excellence? I think you'll find yes is the answer to every one of those questions. Call or book today, myyourfix.com. That's myyourfix.com or 844-EUROFIX.
All right, we are tracking a line of showers and thunderstorms, some of them containing severe thunderstorms, moving to Middle Tennessee right now. It has made it past Jackson, this line I'm talking about, and continues to move east. We're keeping an eye on that and other top stories coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 1 more hour to go. Ken Weaver just mentioned this line of storms. It's moving swiftly toward I-65. So, frankly, if you're in the western portions of the listening area, you're probably getting popped with rain showers and maybe even some inclement, nasty weather. We don't see any tornado warnings in this.
No, sir.
But we do see a line of very strong storms. So we'll be covering that for you all evening long. Obviously, the next hour or so, we'll tell the tale as to how long we stay here. But we'll stick around and make sure that everyone's in the clear. But if you're heading home right now, I hope you get home very soon. Otherwise, you're going to get very wet on your way home. Joe in Nashville.
Yes.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, this is Joe. I'm also known as Ken Weaver. And
I'm Ken
I was
Weaver.
talking about I'm 75 years old, and I think that marijuana should definitely be legalized. I was having sciatic nerve pain so bad 2 years ago that I was in a wheelchair. When I went to see the surgeon, my wife had to roll me in a wheelchair to see him. He was ready to do surgery. Instead of doing surgery, I decided to go to West Palm Beach, Florida, where we spend the winters. I got down there. I got me a marijuana card, and it got me some marijuana. By using my marijuana 3 times a day, I was able to start riding my bicycle, and I got over it. I got down to where I was using it just morning and night, and then I got down to where I used it only at night. And now I just use it at night when I need it. But as far as being medical marijuana, you have to get a card, and it's a money maker for the state.
Well, Joe, look, I appreciate the perspective. I got to run. I'm sorry that I've got to suspend the call so quickly, but we've got to get to the newscast. But I thank you for the story. It is 6 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking another round of strong to severe storms right now in West Middle Tennessee, moving east toward all of Middle Tennessee. Can't rule out tornadoes. If some of these severe storms get to a certain level, they could pop up some tornadoes. We're here to watch it for you. Meanwhile, in Goodlettsville, Faith O'Neill describes the moment a tornado may have ripped through her neighborhood last night.
I'm shaking a little bit, had a little bit of a panic attack. I was just kind of awoken by the loudest wind I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was kind of like suctioning wind, and like I thought it was hail hitting our house at first, but it was everything being thrown against our house.
So the National Weather Service will be surveying damage to determine whether any tornadoes touched down last night. And if we get some tornado warnings today, they'll survey whatever damage comes from that. Fingers crossed that they don't have to. Winter storm survivors in Tennessee have another form of financial relief available. The state is refunding up to $2,500 in sales tax for FEMA-approved residents. This refund covers taxes paid on eligible household items bought to repair or replace storm-damaged property. Survivors have 1 year from their FEMA approval date to apply. You do that through the Department of Revenue here in Tennessee. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by federal prosecutors who've charged him with threatening the life of President Trump. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with more from D.C.
Current FBI Director Kash Patel says his predecessor's predecessor, James Comey, threatened the life of President Trump by posting a picture of shells on a beach forming the numbers 8647.
Shortly after posting that threat, he deleted that threat and then issued an apology.
Now, nearly a year later, a grand jury in eastern North Carolina has approved a 2-count indictment, with each count carrying a maximum of 5 years in prison. Last year, a federal judge threw out another indictment that had a Virginia grand jury charging Comey with lying to Congress. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn's pushing to give local governments more money if they partner with ICE.
If you're going to enforce the rule of law, which they all should be doing, but if they're going to do it, then they're going to be able to get an increase. And this puts in place the ability to penalize those jurisdictions that are not going to be enforcing the law.
So Blackburn tells WTN's Chris Hand show she wants to give these counties 10% more than what they would usually get from the Federal Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG, which is named after Edward Eddie Byrne, who was a New York City cop murdered in 1988 while protecting a witness in a drug case. As of today, 49 of Tennessee's 95 counties are partnering with ICE enforcement operations. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. We've got a crash in Berry Hill that is blocking the Gore 65 southbound right before Armory Drive. That is really backing up 65 there, right there at Berry Hill, there, 440 interchange. In Murfreesboro, a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound at I-840. Other stop-and-go traffic, northbound, North Loop, and then eastbound and westbound, actually westbound 40 more so than eastbound 40 between downtown and the eastern split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, final hour of this Tuesday, April 28 edition. Thank you for being with us. Lots to get into. We spent the better part of the first 3 hours discussing marijuana, whether it's medical or recreational marijuana, and its illegality currently in the state of Tennessee, and Marsha Blackburn's position on how that should stay illegal in the state of Tennessee. She was on with Chris Hand earlier today, and we played a little portion of that for you earlier. You may comment on said same, or we've got other matters to discuss. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. Still plenty of time for you to vote in Nincompoops in the News. Ken Weaver, Jackson Williams, Matt Murphy. We're combating. We're in the arena.
How's the votes looking?
The votes are looking pretty good if you're Matt Murphy. pretty good if you're
Son
Matt
of a
Murphy.
biscuit eater.
I'm telling you, the bee lady, she's the gift that keeps on giving. Although the title of that book was pretty good too, Jackson. What was that one? Next Time I'll Do It Better or something like that? I can't remember.
Ways to Love Her Deeper.
For some reason,
I don't think that was.
for some reason, I don't think that's the name of the book.
That is. Well, that's the subtitle.
Do you remember what the title was?
No, but I remember that part. I'll tell you that.
Hey, Ken.
You don't forget reading those words into a microphone.
Ken, you start doing the news, and Jackson was kind enough to buy me a Diet Dr. Pepper. Thank you, Jackson.
Oh, way to go, Brother Jackson.
Jackson brings me my Diet Dr. Pepper, and he sits down. He's having a cold Coca-Cola, and he looked at me straight in the face, and he said, I didn't read the title of that book before I read it live on the radio. What was it again?
Ways to Love Her Deeper.
And this was his.
As in, no, I'm sure they're talking emotionally. Ways to emotionally bond with your significant other in a deeper, more connective fashion.
Well, and did he mean his first wife or his second wife?
That's a good question, too.
Wife A or B?
Yeah, wife A or B.
Wife A didn't seem to stick.
No, wife A did. They both stuck. That's the issue.
Well, that's true.
They just didn't know about each other.
That's true.
That's where the bigamy comes in.
No, well, here's the... if you don't watch yourself, you're going to get a movie. Ken might have seen this movie. I guarantee you've never seen it. Mickey and Maude. You remember that film, Ken?
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, Mickey and Maude with Dudley Moore. I was uncomfortable. I watched this movie. It was on like Cinemax or whatever. I watched this movie when I was like 12 years old, and I was uncomfortable with it at the time. Dudley Moore's like a physician, and so he's a wealthy, well-to-do guy.
Yeah.
He has a wife. He starts an affair with another woman and gets both of his wife and his other lady pregnant at the same time.
Goodness.
And it's him trying, and it's all uncomfortable, and it's all about him trying to balance between the two women, and then they find out about him, of course, kick him to the curb. They become friends, and then eventually they reconcile with old Dudley Moore later on in life. But, I mean, all's well that ends well, I assume.
Sister Wives.
You've seen that?
No.
That would be right up. Jackson, I know what type of trash you watch on television. That would be right up your alley.
What kind of trash do I watch?
The Rookie.
I'm 2 weeks behind.
I said no spoilers.
No spoilers.
What about 911 Nashville? Is that still on?
They come back Thursday.
Trash. Good Lord, it's trash. Oh, my goodness gracious. Ryan, you watching that trash TV?
Nah, I skip all that.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, good for you. Keep that out of your head. Keep that out of your brain. 615-737-9986 is the telephone number. All right, lots to get into of a non-marijuana nature. The gunman, his manifesto, if you will, turned out to be an anti-Trump social media come to life. Like many a would-be killer before him, the man who allegedly crashed into the White House Correspondents' Center, and we say allegedly because that's what you're supposed to do, but I mean, it's obviously him, in hopes of killing individuals. Top administration officials, including President Donald J. Trump, wrote a, quote, manifesto, but it was not a crazy manifesto. Unlike, individuals before him, the ramblings of the Unabomber or whatnot, this was not something like we saw out of the, Covenant School. When we eventually saw portions of the Covenant School journals and materials, it was consumed with the individual's identity and whether she should have been a man or whatever. I mean, it was all it was feeding that ego, that sense of self. This, however, is something quite different. This was an oddly sane account, considering that Cole Allen appeared to be willing to give up his own life for his task, for the attack. More than anything, And, you know, the Washington Examiner had a good piece on this earlier today. It resembled, frankly, anything that you would find anywhere online on leftist social media. You find an average left-leaning social media poster, quote-unquote influencer, and you'll find this type of language. I'm a citizen of the United States of America, Allen wrote. What my representatives do reflects on me. I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. You know, and we've been watching this manifest itself on social media platforms for months. And people think it's funny to refer to Donald Trump in all of these various ways. And it isn't true, but it doesn't matter that it's not true. They just say it because they want it to be so. They've decided that they hate the man so much that he must be all of these things that they've decided he is. Evidence be damned. So much so that on CBS 60 Minutes, I guess it was Norah O'Donnell that regurgitated the line that I just read to you to the President of the United States of America, and he responded appropriately, saying, what are you doing? I mean, why are you reading that garbage? Why are you reading that trash? The concepts espoused by a would-be assassin have become, sadly, mainstream on social media. And if you want to know the infection that is truly impacting this country more than anything, it's just that. It's social media. I've said for a while, I believe in freedom, I believe in liberty, and I would not do it because I believe in it so much. But if I got a knock on the head and I had the ability, I'd shut down social media tomorrow, and the world would be a better place if I did it. If I shut down Instagram, if I shut down Twitter, if I shut down Facebook, if I shut down the internet, I would suggest to you the world would become a better place. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. The world has soured on itself in large part not because of politics, not because we've had this sea change of emotion with regard to the nature of the country and which direction we should go in, because of the self-aggrandizing self-importance that so many people have of themselves on social media platforms. And it's created this dynamic by which people think they can get away with saying anything they want to say. I am not so naive that I wouldn't believe that these people did not exist prior to now. It's just they get far more exposure now because of those social media platforms that feed that echo chamber. Am I wrong? And in the meantime, here 3 days out, it's a Tuesday after the Saturday in which the president's life was threatened for the third time at least, and you could count as many as 8. And we're not talking about it? Why not? I would suggest that were the political affiliations shifted and had the mainstream media the opportunity to reflect on the character, the nature of the individual involved in this case. And if you flip the script, they would not stop talking about it for the foreseeable future. And it would not be enough to talk about Cole Allen and his motivations. They won't talk about this issue in the manner that they should, because if you naturally broaden your view of what's going on in America, you have to lay blame at people like Hakeem Jeffries. You have to lay blame at people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and so many others that have labeled Donald Trump as a dictator and a Hitler and a this and a that, to the point that people believe it. People believe it so much so that even today, let me give you an example. There was a Daily Beast focus group that came together, and I don't believe that this focus group is reflective of Republican voters at all, but I just use it as an example. A focus group created by the Daily Beast, which is a leftist publication, delivered a, quote, savage verdict on his second term with of a dozen voters who claim to have voted for Donald Trump in 2024. 9 out of 12 of them say that they regret it. And at least one of them said that not only was he a total disaster, but they feel as if they have been betrayed. One going so far, let's see, Michelle A Latina Republican from Maryland said she was foolish for voting for Trump. Pamela, 65, a white Republican small business owner from Tennessee, said, I'm embarrassed for our entire country what we're dealing with right now. Kitty, 36, an Asian independent student from Pennsylvania, told moderators of her vote, it's like now we have a dictator. What? See, this type of language, what the hell are you talking about? If Donald Trump was a dictator, why would he be waiting on Congress to do anything? It's as if language doesn't mean anything anymore. And people use this type of language with impunity because, they get away with it. I mean, there was a time when nobody would hear this nonsense because this nonsense would just be off you would speak it into the wilderness and it would remain in the wilderness. Now you speak it into the internet and it gets amplified tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000,000-fold. And when people find themselves surrounded by individuals of a like mindset, delusional though it may be, it feeds upon itself. Man, it's a cult. I agree with you, Mario. It is a cult. And if I had my way, I'd shut it down. I don't know that I would like doing it, but I would. And by the way, for you left of center folks who listen to this radio show, just to give you a few of them, because those of you, there's violence on both sides, Matt. There's violent rhetoric on both sides. 2017 congressional baseball game. 2022 assassination attempt on Brett Kavanaugh. 2024 Luigi Mangione alleged assassination of Brian Thompson. 2024 Butler Rally, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. 2024 Florida golf course assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The Antifa shootings at the ICE facility in 2025 that no media outlet will talk about anymore. Obviously, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and then the attempted assassination again of Donald Trump. All of those things were built around the language of the left. It is the left. They've decided that they can get away with anything they want to say and that we're supposed to sit back and take it. And it's wrong. It's 21 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, I have a quick question for you. When it comes to your health, wouldn't you rather know what's going on in your body rather than not know what's going on in your body? That's what it's all about at Kraft Body Scan. These are CT scans that are available to you. This technology is incredible, folks. I've gone through it. One thing you need to know about Kraft Body Scan, you're not going into a tube. This is not like an MRI machine. This is an open space. You lay on a table, and you have like a ring around you, just a very small ring that goes up and down, and it scans your entire body. It's non-invasive, but they can see inside of your body, see what's going on inside of your body, and don't you want to know? They can check things like heart issues, lung issues, and much, much more. Those full body scans are incredible, and I've done one. Right now, Kraft Body Scan is offering an incredible couples heart and lung scan, which is a value of over $2,500 for less than $100, $99. It's fast, it's easy, and it gives you real peace of mind. Here's what you need to do. Type in the promo code MATT50 when you go to the website, togetherwescan.com. Togetherwescan.com, promo code MATT50, MATT50. 615-436-1000 is the telephone number. 615-436-1000. Friends, you want to know what's going on inside of your body, and you can with a couples heart and lung scan through Kraft Body Scan. Once again, Together We Scan, promo code MATT50.
Still tracking strong storms approaching Nashville from the west. We're also talking to Middle Tennesseans who are dealing with storm damage from last night and another indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. All this and more coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
An indictment that I don't believe is going anywhere. And maybe I have a misunderstanding of the application of the law here. But you have to demonstrate that James Comey knew that what he was posting on his Instagram feed was a direct incitement to violence against the president of the United States. And James Comey has stated previously that, well, I mean, I knew that 86 was like cancel, but I didn't realize it was kill. And so it said 8647, and I meant like cancel 8647. When somebody said, oh, that's kind of a violent thing, then I pulled it down. Well, I don't really understand what we're doing. I mean, I don't like James Comey, and I'm on record as saying that James Comey should be in jail for weaponizing the FBI against a political candidate, namely Donald J. Trump. That is against the law to do so. And we should value those national security forces like the FBI, CIA, et cetera, and expect that they are above the politics of the day. That said, James Comey did not do that, but that's not what this is about. And this feels like, it just feels like a fool's errand. To me, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Billy is in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Hello, Billy. Billy boy.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Hey, Billy. How are you?
Doing well. I just wanted to say that I'd like you to get Monty Fritz back on the show. I want to know more about him straight from the horse's mouth. I wasn't going to vote for Marsha to begin with, but I really am not going to now based on her statement on Chris's show earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing that a lot. I'm hearing a lot of people say, you know what, I was thinking about, I was open for voting for John, open. I don't know that this is moving a lot of people off Marsha Blackburn. Maybe it is, but it has certainly gotten plenty of folks that listen to this radio show reconsidering where their vote's going to land come the primaries or come November.
Do you think you could get Monty back on?
Oh, yeah. Monty will be on plenty before the August 6th primary. I'm assured of that. We'll get Monty back on. He's a listener to the show, and he's a friend of the show, and we will certainly have him back on at some point. 2805 writes in and says, Trump also had Comey indicted again for Instagram post. Yeah, we've been talking about that. 2805 also says that thing at the correspondents' dinner was staged so Trump could get taxpayer money to fund his ballroom and get the injunction lifted from the judge 1,000%. Well, number one, you're not going to have the injunction lifted based on what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Number two, just because there's a ballroom at the White House doesn't mean that the White House Correspondents' Dinner would be at the White House. As a matter of fact, quite the contrary. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is run by, wait for it, the White House Correspondents Association. And that organization rents the Washington Hilton Hotel to have the Correspondents' Dinner. So they would necessarily have to, I would assume, pay for the ballroom if it were at the White House. Number two, White House Correspondents' Dinner had, 2,600 people in attendance the other night? The ballroom that is expected to be built on the grounds of the White House would only seat as many as 1,000 people, so it would be inadequate to the task. Number three, in no way will this impact the case in front of the judge, unless you believe that a judge in good standing in the state, well, I don't think it's in Virginia. I guess it's in Washington, D.C., one way or the other, unless you are to believe that this judge would be influenced by exterior circumstances involving political headlines. I'm certain that you wouldn't suggest that. Number three, the injunction against the president of the United States in his ballroom is absurd on its face. Number four, at no point has Donald Trump asked for, nor would he expect taxpayer money to fund the ballroom. Secondarily, if he did expect taxpayer money to fund the ballroom, guess who has to vote on that? That would be the Congress of the United States of America, and there are sad to say, enough Republicans that would be against this ballroom just on general principle that I don't believe he could get it through the House of Representatives, much less the Senate. All right? So just to disabuse you of certain notions that you have, 2805 on that front. Number 3, you write, he's also having the FCC to try to revoke ABC's license because of a joke Jimmy Kimmel said 3 days before the dinner. If that's not a sign of a dictator, I don't know what is. Well, then you don't know what is, because that is not the sign of a dictator. Because a dictator would not ask the FCC to do anything. A dictator would just do it on his own. More on that in a moment. I got more to say to you, 2805. Your calls as well, 615-737-9986. It's time for the news with Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Severe weather remains possible for Middle Tennessee. Right now, I'm looking at radar, and we've got a line of what appear to be some strong storms still approaching Nashville from the west, but none of it has prompted any severe thunderstorm warnings and no tornado warnings right now with this line that is west of Nashville moving to the east. Still, it's something we got to keep an eye on because some parts of Middle Tennessee, the a very western part of Middle Tennessee, are still under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. And then all of Middle Tennessee is under a severe thunderstorm watch. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as it continues to move eastward toward Nashville. But right now, it is not prompting any warnings whatsoever. Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Rising oil prices and falling AI stocks taking another toll on markets, which ended the day down once again. The Dow lost 31 points, the S&P fell 35, and the Nasdaq dropped 223 points. The price for a barrel of Brent crude climbed 2.7% to close at $111, and the average price for a gallon of gas reaching $4.18 a gallon, the highest since 2022, according to Gas Buddy. BP reported its profit more than doubled in the first quarter because the war in Iran drove energy prices higher. On the tech side, chipmaker Nvidia, Broadcom, and Micron Technology all saw losses. It comes after a report in the Wall Street Journal said some leaders at OpenAI are concerned about whether it can support its massive spending on data centers after missing targets for new users and revenue. It's raising concerns about a possible AI bubble.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, still showing that crash in Berry Hill that is blocking the right lane of 65 southbound before Armory Drive. Still brake, tap, and stop and go northbound North Loop up to the northern split, and then eastbound 24 from 440, and then the eastbound South Loop over to 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
The Wellness Institute of Nashville has a website. It's called painisbad.com. Painisbad.com. Why? Well, because pain is bad. And if you're experiencing pain anywhere on your body, you want to eliminate that pain. I mean, obviously you do. You want to live a better life pain-free. You can do so at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They have my seal of approval. And right now, they have an epic special going on. No surgery, no injections, no painkillers. Friends, this Medical Bay #1 discussion is incredible because Dr. Mitchell has done it again. He's created, designed by Mitchell himself, a unit that utilizes photons of light. Now, photons of light impact our cells underneath our skin, whether we like it or not. Medical Bay 1 is a futuristic healing machine that utilizes near-infrared technology and also adds stem cell stimulation for tissue regeneration using photons of wavelength for ultimate healing. It's a very fancy way of saying this stuff works. It is modern techniques. It is modern technology. It's modern medicine at its finest. Friends, ask about this when you stop by the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Tell them that we said hello, painisbad.com, or here's the number, 615-246-5009, 246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of our liberal listeners or left of center listeners seem very nonplussed and upset about the fact that Donald Trump is placing his photograph or his image, his likeness on American passports. Well, I suppose Donald Trump can do that. Obviously, Donald Trump likes his name. He likes his image, his likeness, and he puts his NIL on most everything that he surrounds himself with, including, I'm on the record as saying I like the man. I voted for him 6 times. I think he has done less than I had hoped in his second term in terms of fulfilling campaign obligations or promises. But there's also certain things about his second term that I have not cared for. The jury is still out on Iran, something that we've not talked about this week at all. But that is still very much hanging over the administration's head, very much hanging over the American economy's head, if you will. But I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. I don't really care for what they're doing with the White House. I'm not talking about the ballroom. The ballroom is a necessary function. The ballroom needs to happen. Presidents prior to Donald Trump have long said that they need a formal ballroom for state dinners and occasions like what would be happening tonight with King Charles and Queen Camilla heading to the White House for a state dinner, if not already there. Well, those state dinners have to be conducted in tents. I mean, obviously, Charles and Camilla and Trump and Melania, they will not be in a tent, but a large portion of the attendees will be because the White House doesn't have the room. But if you build a ballroom, they would. I'm not talking about that. Look, I'm just being honest. It's not a game changer, nor is it a deal breaker for me. But if you've seen some of the ornate gold accents that they've been putting up at the White House, and a lot of the cursive language that they're putting up on walls, and they're like labeling everything. Oh, this is the Oval Office, or this, or this is the Rose Garden. I just don't care for it. I like a simpler look. I like a cleaner look, and I don't really like all the gold flash. But you know what? I'm not the current resident of the White House, nor are you. And the next resident of the White House will have the opportunity to take a lot of that stuff down, as they should, because, well, they're the president at that point. But that said, I don't get a lot of heartburn about the passport deal. He's the president of the United States. So if he wants to put his image on the passport, put your image on the passport. Do you have a passport, Jackson?
Yes.
So you're ready to flee the country at any moment if they find you out?
Yes.
That's fair. 615-737-9986. Adam is next. Hey, Adam.
Hey. How you doing, Matt?
Adam, I'm great. I hope you are.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm calling to say that I don't know where you stand on this, but I just don't think that. Well, basically, I agreed with everything that crazy lunatic that tried to kill the president said when he talked about the Secret Service.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? You know how obviously I totally disagree with what he did.
Right.
And all of that, but somewhere in that screed that he wrote, he wrote about how basically how easy it was.
How did it obviously wasn't as easy as he thought.
Well, that's true, but aren't we thankful that it was just him and not some organized group that were trained?
Well, how many people would have been in that group? Because it's my understanding, I read an article this morning that there were somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70 officers between where he was apprehended and the ballroom.
Well, and that's true, but I understood. Now, I heard something about the fact that the floor above it was pretty much easy to get onto, and if they detonated the bomb, that whole floor would have come down on the ballroom.
Well, that's all well and good. That is a structural function of the White House Correspondents' Dinner itself. So if the suggestion being made by Adam, and I think it's fair to suggest that the Secret Service should have said no. Okay. I mean, that's fair, but
I'm not saying no. I'm saying a wider perimeter.
I mean, what, you want to shut the hotel down?
No, that's too extreme. There must be a reasonable middle ground.
I mean, based on my understanding, and I don't pretend to understand the layout as well as some, but based on my understanding of the layout, I think the middle ground was that you're creating that perimeter into the ballroom. You're allowing people to freely move to their rooms and to restaurants and to go about their own business. But if you get to a certain point, you're going to go through a magnometer, which is going to screen you for weapons. If it is a criticism of the Secret Service not recognizing that we have now entered a different era in terms of what they need to do to secure perimeters around the President of the United States, I think that's a fair statement.
I would agree with that.
So, with that in mind, they've now learned that the president can't have that sort of access.
No, unfortunately not. And you're right about everything you say about social media.
But at the same time, Adam, I mean, this guy apparently thought prior to the event that he was going to be able to blitzkrieg his way through that security and get right on into that ballroom and do some destruction, and obviously he did not have that ability.
Well, he got close, and if he had bombs on him instead of guns, he probably could have done he probably could have killed people.
Yeah, and I've not seen any official analysis, and maybe they're withholding it, Adam. Thank you for the call. Obviously, they did not check his bags for guns. That is not to say that they did not have bomb-sniffing dogs available in the lobby areas. I don't know if that's true or not, whether they did or not. I've read material that suggested that anyone that checked in the day before the event was held, and he did, Cole Allen checked in on a Friday, that no one was checked and that they did not have secured personnel in the lobby area at that time. So, I mean, I guess that would give him the ability to bring a bomb. Any bomb that would have been powerful enough to bring a floor down, I mean, that's not a bomb that you can carry in your hand. I mean, the weight of that would necessitate that you would have to. Right, I'm just trying to think functionally, Adam. I don't want to be dismissive of the comment. Well, what if he had a bomb? Well, what type of bomb are we talking about? I mean, he got nowhere close to the president. Y'all, the media initially portrayed this as if like he was right outside the door. He was nowhere close to the ballroom. He still had a flight of stairs to go. He had, 50, 60, 80 feet to traverse after those stairs. There were scores of officers between himself and the ballroom doors, plus additional officers within the ballroom. So while it was way too close for comfort, I don't know that it was as close as some have been suggesting. 615-737-9986. It is 48 after the hour. Tell you what, quick timeout. Andy Ogles was at the Belmont. Speaking of security, Andy participated in a student town hall event at Belmont University, and his presence was met with what he called a screaming mob. We'll share some of that with you coming up in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. This Mother's Day, for your mother in your life, don't just mail it in. Get her something memorable, meaningful, and timeless. I hope you're listening, young Jackson, because your mama deserves something wonderful for putting up with you. Show her how much she's appreciated with a beautiful piece of jewelry from Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds has created the best Mother's Day collection ever. Imagine her face lighting up as she opens a dazzling diamond bracelet, a pair of sparkling diamond earrings, a stunning colored gemstone pendant, each one hand-selected and designed to last not just this year, but for years to come. Genesis has the gifts that make the statement. Fellas, you need to check it out. This year, they've added a brand new creation from their exclusive designers, plus an ultimate way to show how much she means to you without having to break the bank. They're a half-price vault with 50% off specials at Genesis Diamond. So this Mother's Day, give her more than just a casual gift or flowers or whatnot. Give her a memory that she will cherish forever, every single day. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis Diamonds for this Mother's Day. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Let's talk for a moment about Nashville Safe House. How do you keep your important valuables secure from theft or fire? Do you hide them in a box? Stick them in a drawer underneath your bed? No, that's not the way to do it. You secure your valuables with a quality safe from Nashville Safe House. And you're thinking, well, Murphy, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I would even get. I wouldn't know where to begin. Don't worry about it. The professionals at Nashville Safe House can feed you baby birds. They can guide you through the process. And yes, they have so much on display. Almost 200 safes right there in the showroom and another 400 or so in their warehouse. They have the safe that's right for you, whether it's Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino. They carry them all. They also carry vault doors and storm shelters at Nashville Safe House, plus biometrics. The largest Browning safe dealer in the United States of America. They have exclusive Browning deals. Friends, the other imitators, they just pretend to have the selection you want. At Nashville Safe House, they live it every single day. Go see Mark, Jill, and the rest of the team at Nashville Safe House. And remember, gun safes are sales tax free at Nashville Safe House. Go by 4th Avenue South in Nashville, across from City Cemetery. And when you do, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Nashville Safe House. What are you giving me that look for? I almost nailed you.
I'm giving you the what for.
Hey, hand me that piece of paper. I want to try it again. Just give me the piece of paper. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you. Oh, you did it. Don't you do it. Give that. Hello, friends. It's the Matt Murphy Show. We're winding it down. There's rainfall moving through the areas. Ken Weaver still back there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ken Weaver.
Weaver at 6:54?
Weaver, what are you doing, Weaver? Go home, Weaver.
I'm afraid of the rain.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We're thinking about going over to get something to eat, Ken. Honestly. Why wouldn't we? We just want to make sure that we're here and available just in case the poop goes down.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. I was going to do this. Ryan, you going to take loose bets on whether I can hit Jackson in the head? What do you think?
I mean,
he's really unathletic.
Maybe 2-1.
That was my shoulder.
You had to bob and weave. 6455 writes in and says, what if that guy was like a legit terrorist and strapped a bomb to himself? Wouldn't that have been a very ugly situation? He smuggled in a gun. Why not a bomb? Well, yes, it would have been a very ugly situation, and it's been a situation that has been exacerbated by the language being used on the left. And the left has to take some self-examination here. Sadly, they are not taking self-examination, and those leftists that are making comments in my feed on the super text line, their commentary is focused on the failures of the Secret Service. Well, I don't believe the Secret Service failed functionally. If you want to suggest the Secret Service should have been aware that they have to broaden their perimeter, that they have to tighten security to the point that Donald Trump can't interact with the general public or anywhere near the general public, well, in that case, the president can go nowhere where there is not a vetted crowd. I mean, maybe that's where we are in American society now, that everywhere he goes, there has to be a sheet of bulletproof protection between him and any average Joe citizen. I don't know. Is that where we are? Maybe. Patrick writes in and says, the country's more divided. Nothing has been done that's permanent because it's all executive orders. We promised no new wars, and then now we've got this. Inflation is going up, unemployment going up, manufacturing is decreasing, and our national debt went up by $1 trillion. I might nip around the edges on some of those percentages, unemployment being one of them, inflation being the other. But I don't disagree with you on anything else. Sadly, the Congress of the United States of America is winning, the Congress being a part of the swamp. Donald Trump's initial promise, and I'm not suggesting that we can't get some good out of this presidency yet, but if you, like me, believe that everything that Donald Trump will be able to accomplish must happen before November if the Democrats are going to win that and win back the House of Representatives, then we don't have very long for Donald Trump to fulfill his promise. And the basic promise that he ran on in 2016 and the premise of his campaign again in 2024 was to drain the swamp. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm giving up, but, I mean, we have the benefit of 10 years now. 10 years of hindsight. And yeah, they pushed back for 4 years during the Biden administration. There's no question about that. But I mean, honestly, if you're the most ardent Trump supporter on planet Earth, and I believe I am a ardent Trump supporter, if you ask yourself, who's winning, the swamp or Donald Trump? I mean, $40 trillion in debt? Swamp seems bigger than ever. Swamp seems bigger than ever. In the meantime, Andy Ogles was at Belmont University. He was being yelled at by a group of college students. These skulls of mush, man, oh man, to be a college student again, oh so brilliant, these college students. The event was held last morning, or yesterday morning, I should say, at the Janet Ayers Academic Center. It was put on by the Belmont University College Republicans, allowed students the opportunity to engage with the congressman on a variety of issues. Congressman Ogles, his press office, said in a release that the town hall covered a, quote, wide range of topic, including America's role in global conflict, economic policy, immigration reform, and the responsibilities of government at every level. The congressman's office also said that he answered students' questions and emphasized the importance of civic engagement, national security, and economic strength in reshaping the next generation of American leadership. Following the event, he posted a video on social media showing students lining the university hallway in protest of his presence at the town hall and on campus. "Hate is not welcome here," yelled the students in the video posted by Ogles. Differences of opinion? Maybe. Hate? Not so much. The students, skulls of mush. Ogles, good for you for being in the firing line, so to speak, when it comes to what you knew was going to be a slightly hostile environment. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Y'all stay safe, stay dry. We'll be here if you need us, if things go awry. Ken Weaver in the newsroom, Jackson Williams, Ryan in the control area, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a wonderful evening, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.